Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talking About Balls. I am Justin George, joined as always by Kyle Price. I am sharing the show right now. Szmyt. His name is hard to spell. This episode is called Szmyt Happens because that's the name of the Browns kicker who basically cost the Browns the win on Sunday. We'll get into that, of course, as we get into the show. But let's share the show really quick. Szmyt Happens is now live. Thank you for watching. So anyway, we are here. We are live. We are ready to roll. It is hump day. We have picks. We have recap of week 1. We have recap of the Browns' first game of the season. We have a preview of the Browns versus the Ravens at the end of the show. We have just the tip. Got a little baseball talk. Got a little NBA talk. If time permits, we'll get into everything. And we'll get to it. So what's going on, man? How are you?
Good, man. Coming to you from lovely Southern Ohio.
Yeah, it didn't look like a familiar room, so I was waiting to find out where you were at. where in Ohio?
Bed and everything here. So Cincinnati. I was in Florence this morning. I drove down early this morning, and then I just got to Cincinnati, back up to Cincinnati probably about an hour or so ago.
Okay.
Tomorrow, and then I have a meeting Friday morning with Paycor Stadium down here with the team that just beat us. And then I'll be coming back home Friday afternoon. So.
Well, spoiler alert, the people that own Paycor Stadium are known for being cheap. So just know that before you go into your meeting.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's a good account. I mean, it's going to be a good account for the branch down here. So aside from the differences, pay their invoices. I don't give a shit.
That's fair. All right. I am all shared and ready to rumble. Okay. All right. Let's get right into it. Last week, obviously, we had a show. Normally, we've been doing 2 weeks, but we're on weekly now because the season just started. So Friday, I had, I take that back. Wednesday, we did the show, got off the show, and then football started, man. Life was good. I love football season. Opening day, Thursday night football, and then they do the Brazil game. So I got to watch Friday night football. Saturday had the cornhole party. That was awesome. Had a blast. Everybody, it's so different. I was telling Kyle, having kids now, like we used to people came over. We got shitty drunk, stayed up all day, all night, just felt horrible the next day. But you could just take a nap, sleep it off, whatever. Now with kids, very different. Don't get me wrong. I still got very drunk. I had a good time. But just you don't stay up as late as you used to. You don't get to sleep in. Those days are done. So you just pretty much had to battle through your hangover all the next day, and it was worth it. It was a good time. Had a lot of leftover food. Got to enjoy that on Sunday while I watched football all day. Thank God Teddy is a champ. She has been napping like shit lately. I'm talking like maybe an hour, 15 minutes. And on Sunday during the Browns game, her nap time is 1 o'clock. So Tara puts her down. Tara gives me the monitor, and she goes, "Here you go. If she wakes up, she's your problem. I'm taking a nap." And I said, "Okay, that's fine." So Tara goes and takes a nap. All of a sudden, it's halftime. Check the monitor, still sleeping. Cool. Go make a plate of food. Come back down. End of the third quarter. Check the monitor, still sleeping. I'm like, oh shit, dude, this is a long nap. Finally, we're at the 2-minute warning. And I'm like, all right. I zoom in on the thing because I'm like, is she moving? Is she breathing? Like, what the fuck? She's breathing. She's fine. And with about a little under 2 minutes to go, she sits up and she's awake. And I was like, holy shit, that was perfect timing. So Tara happened to wake up at about the same time, and she texted me and she's like, "Is she up yet?" And I said, "She just woke up." So Tara went and got her. Perfect. Nice 3-hour nap for Teddy on Sunday. Worked out perfectly. Yeah, I got to watch the whole game uninterrupted. It was lovely. And then that was pretty much it. My whole weekend was just spent watching football and having the party. Shout out to Graham. Cornhole champions, me and Graham, we won the whole thing. I did a blind draw with everybody, made it completely fair. Just happened to land Graham and myself. We went undefeated, did not lose a single match all evening. Had a good time, though. The party was fun, good music, had football games going, a bunch of people. We had, I think, 20 participants in the cornhole tournament, so that's not bad. Ironically enough, my old neighbor Mike, I invited him. He stopped over, so it was nice to see him after a couple of years. And had a good time. It was fun. Nothing crazy, but again, very different when you have kids. Kids change your life in so many ways you don't even think about, because I remember couple of years ago, you hear about, I'm sure you've heard of her, Miss Rachel. I'm sure everyone's heard of Miss Rachel. So when you hear that, if you're not a parent, when you see it, you're kind of like, this is annoying as fuck. How do parents watch this? When you have a kid and you need them to sit still, Miss Rachel is a godsend. You don't even notice how annoying it is. Teddy's a really good kid. I'll start with that first and foremost. Obviously, she's very well behaved. She's usually pretty good. But on days where she's a little rambunctious, when it's getting closer to bedtime, when it's the witching hour, as they call it, and she's getting a little sleepy and a little vulnerable or ornery, we throw on a little Miss Rachel in the background. She doesn't really watch TV ever, so we just put on Miss Rachel for her, and it catches her attention a little bit. She gets bored really quickly from it, but it's a nice little treat to just be like, you know what? I need like 5 minutes of you not getting into everything. So click Miss Rachel, and it stops her for a minute, and she dances along, and then I'm like, whew, it's a nice break. So thank you, Miss Rachel, for being the free YouTube and Netflix babysitter that everybody needs.
You have your chat on because Tara just said that she only gets 30 minutes.
Yes. We put on Miss Rachel. She gets 30 minutes before bed at most. Like today, I think we only had her on for like 10 minutes because closer to Teddy's bedtime, Tara threw on a couple songs for Teddy to dance to and like clap along with. And then off to bed she went. So yeah, she doesn't watch anything else. We don't have TVs on her or on for her. We don't give her tablets and stuff like that. We don't even let her play with our phones. It's just 10 to 15 to 30 minutes of Miss Rachel because Miss Rachel is very educational and we kind of pick and choose which ones we play. We want her to do the ones that are like teach you how to, share, teach you how to say words, like things like that. So we pick and choose which ones she gets, but pretty good stuff. It's pretty much my life though. Work, watching football. That's all I've been doing for the last week. Not a whole lot else has happened.
Jealous because all I do is work anymore. I unfortunately had to miss the festivities last weekend because of work. I got home Friday afternoon only to find out I had to go back to Columbus to do a big move. We're moving. I'm moving 2 offices by the end of the year, but the first one is our Columbus office. We're moving into a new location, and we have to basically unpack or pack up an office that's been there for 25 years. So the amount of stuff that I've come through and thrown away and gotten rid of and found, it's just insane. So I've had truckloads upon truckloads of junk. Just today we had Junk Kings come back through and get the rest of the stuff that we left behind in the office. And $500 later, they removed all these metal shelves and bookshelves and stuff that we didn't need. Great service. They took everything apart, so I can't complain. But then I came back home Sunday, got home in time to watch the Browns, was able to go watch the Browns with Jess and everything. And of course it was just disheartening, but now I'm back here. I'm back down. I'm in Cincy today, and then I'll be back Cincy tomorrow. And then we have a wedding this Friday coming up for a family friend. Friday weddings are just weird to me, but Friday wedding, and then back down here in Columbus again in next week. So it's just work. And then weekends, sometimes I get free time to do something. That's pretty much it. So
that sounds right.
Very exciting life anymore.
No, those days are done, man. It's over. The older you get, I've come to realize it's just, you don't like you can still have fun. It's just, obviously it's not the same.
Yeah.
And then
I had bowling now. Like that's why I missed last Wednesday. Cause I had bowling. I had to fill in for Mike. Colleen was supposed to have surgery. She went in and ended up something. Anyways, long story. She ended up not to, but I was there anyway, so I bowled. And I bowl on Tuesdays, but even last night, I bowled last night. I think I drank 1 beer. I was like, I got to get up early in the morning. I was on the road this morning by 6 o'clock. I was like, so it's not even exciting anymore. I can't even cut loose and have fun because I know the next day I got to be traveling. So, womp womp.
Yeah, that's life. Like I said, the older you get, you kind of look back and you're like, man, when I was younger, I used, I'd stay out all night. We were doing this, and now you're kind of like, all right, what is it, 10:30? Yeah, we should probably head home. Like, just things change.
I mean, I had the only thing that happened that I haven't talked about. We had Beer Olympics 2 weeks ago, right? Thank you for stopping by. We're an Ohio State game, so we had people over to do some Beer Olympics. Had people over earlier to watch the Ohio State Buckeyes. It was a good game, great game. Ended up playing some dice football on the pool table in the basement for a while there while people were watching the game still. And then we had the games. Games went smooth. I think we ended up getting 3rd place. She ended up having some issues keeping some alcohol down after playing Flip Cup. The older we get,
that'll get you.
the less we can chug, right? So, but she powered through. We won the flip cup thing. Actually, that's the one event that we won. I was pretty impressed with her ability to drink and then flip it over. Every time she flipped it, the first try she had it, I was like, hats off to you. But then it went smooth. We ended up bringing the party in at the end of the night, did some dice football in the basement until people left. I think I was the last one awake, 11 o'clock, I think, because by the time everyone left, and I was just downstairs BSing with somebody about music, and they left, shut the lights. We had 2 people sleep over because they didn't want to drive home. Went to bed, and I mean, I was up the next day around 10, went and got the dogs. I mean, I woke up without a hangover. So I'm like, I paced myself so well throughout the day that like 9:30, 9 o'clock, I stopped drinking completely and I was just hanging out with people and I felt fine the next day. So I'm starting to learn that trick of not blacking out, which is beautiful, getting to my age.
Yeah, that kind of happened for me. I was doing really well. Like I just only beer Saturday all day, literally started at like, I don't know, 1 o'clock or whatever. And, drank till God, I don't even know what time. And then what happened, was the party basically ended. It got dark out. So I cleaned up and I'm outside putting cornhole boards away, cleaning up chairs, whatever. And we had some people that stuck around and everyone went inside. So they're all inside my house, like hanging out in the kitchen and stuff. And they're up there doing shots. So I come in and of course I'm like, all right, well, I'll do some shots too now that we're all in here. And that got me. I was doing Crown Peach. And kind of basically what I was doing was I was going through my liquor cabinet and I was trying to find anything that we're like almost done with. And I'm like, let's finish this bottle. So, I was doing some Crown Peach shots. We were doing screwball shots, doing bourbon, for, whatever anybody wanted. I would pour it up for them. And, I got rid of a couple bottles. And that's what did me in. I mean, I was fine. We went to bed, no problem. Her one niece ended up spending the night. And Devin, they're in my garage. I got everything all set for you. Don't worry, they're in good shape. So the funny thing was, everyone came over, family, friends, and her 2 nieces were there. Their parents unfortunately couldn't make it. They had a birthday party for a friend or a wedding or something to go to, and so they come by to pick up their kids. And it's like, I don't know, 10:30, whatever, maybe not even. And the girls asked, they're like, "Hey, can we spend the night?" We both were like, "No, not tonight. Like we just had our party. Like not a good night." All right, cool. See you guys later. They leave. We're all in the kitchen doing some shots, having fun. So I decide, I'm like, you know what? Let me go shut everything down. Let me go turn off lights, close windows, like make sure the house is prepped for bed. Even though people were still there, like I'm just getting it ready in advance. So I go upstairs. I see my bedroom doors closed. I see my lights on. I'm like, that's weird. Okay, whatever. I'll go shut that off. Open up the door. One of my nieces sitting in the corner, FaceTiming with friends on her phone. I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? She's like, oh, I'm spending the night. I'm like, what? So apparently they concocted a plan that one of the girls would spend the night with us, and she did. And it was fine. It was just caught me off guard going to the room, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing in my house?
Sneaky.
So we had one of our nieces spend the night on Saturday night, which is always nice to have them sleep over because their whole intention basically is to play with Teddy. So as soon as we got up in the morning, I was making everybody breakfast, and I'm like, here you go. Here's Teddy. Go play with her. So it's kind of nice to get a little bit of a break. But yeah, the party was fun. Everybody had a good time. Good, like I said, good turnout. We had 18 people right when we were about to start the tournament. And I was like, shit, we're going to have an odd number of teams. And then the Sherwoods pull in. And I go up to them and I'm like, hey, do you guys want to do the tournament? Greg was like, I was thinking about it. And I'm like, well, just a heads up. We have 9 teams. If you and Lindsay team up, we'll have 10. And they were like, all right, we're in. So we got that extra 10th team. Made it a little easier. So yeah, it was awesome. We did double elimination. Shout out to my niece, actually, Sophia, the one that ended up spending the night. She dominated at cornhole. She's hardly ever played. She got teamed up with Andy, a friend of ours, and she dominated. She took their team to the championship, although Graham and I beat them twice. She did really well. She went like shot for shot with a lot of people and ended up carrying her team to second place. So valiant effort, but not enough.
Amazing. That's great.
Yeah, it was cool. Everybody was kind of shocked because, like, my brother-in-law, Khan, when he found out Sophia was playing, he's like, I was reading off the teams, and I'm like, okay, Sophia's playing with Andy. And he's like, wait, the kids are in this too? And I'm like, yeah, man, if someone wants to play, it is an open playing field. I am putting it into a randomizer on an app, which I did, and I just randomized all the teams. So I said, let's play. Makes it fair. So we had a good time. It was very fun. Khan is very competitive. He unfortunately got teamed up with Tara's aunt, and she is not known for her cornhole skills. And it's safe to say Khan's journey ended rather fast, but everybody had a good time. That's all that matters. Everybody had a good time.
Picturing Khan under his breath.
Oh, when I was naming off the teams, I guarantee he was probably like, fuck, immediately. But hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. It could happen to me next time.
Winners adapt, my friend. Winners adapt.
Yeah, it could happen to me. You never know. So Graham and I dominated. It was like, honestly, most of our games weren't even close. Graham's really good. I got hot. I don't want to brag. Like, I'm not a very good cornhole player. I'll be the first one to admit it. Like, I'm very average. And I actually, a couple times I was able to like really turn it on and lead us to victory. So very fun time. We had a great time. Thankful for everybody that made it. Obviously, I know you would have been there. You guys have always come to the party, so shit happens. But again, that's being an adult. Things get in your way now. As you get older, that's like the thing when you're younger, you like don't really take your job serious. You don't take like responsibilities that serious. But when you're older, you do, and that's where it starts interfering with your fun. But such is life. All right. I mentioned last week I wanted to talk a little bit of news, and I had some news. I want to talk about Howard Stern. Obviously, there was some big news that happened today. I'm sure, Kyle, you're well versed in it all and everything. But yeah, we'll start with Howard Stern on Monday. As predicted, it was a hoax. He came out. I don't know if you have Sirius or listen to him still. But I listened. I was like, hey, I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen with this. He's back after summer vacation shit. And they start off with Andy Cohen, and to me, horribly acted. I knew right away it was fake. I was just waiting for it to like end. And then they took a call, quote unquote, and the call was so fake and like, again, poorly acted that I was like, okay, this is like some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. And I commented in like the Reddit page for Stern. I'm like, this is clearly fake. You can tell by the fucking phone call. And then sure enough, a couple minutes later, the show starts and Howard Stern's like, hey, I'm back, blah, blah, blah. That stuff's bogus, blah, blah, blah. So that was pretty much it.
Nobody really thought that he was going anywhere, I assume, but...
No, the only thing I thought was that he was going to announce his retirement, which isn't getting canceled. I know his contract was ending at the end of 2025, so I kind of thought, as a 70-something-year-old dude, he's made about $1 billion. He's set for life. Does he just say, like, hey, guys, I'm retiring. I want to enjoy my golden years and, like, enjoy life. But I think if I'm not mistaken, I believe he announced he's signed another contract. So he's sticking around with Sirius.
He needs to retire. I mean, Howard Stern now is not the Howard Stern that...
Not even close. I mentioned it last week. I signed up only because they offered me $4 a month. But I had canceled months ago because I stopped listening. It's just not fun. It's not funny. He hasn't been able to keep up with the times. Sometimes as people get older, it happens. He's obviously, as you said, he's not the same guy. He's now politically correct, which is the opposite of why people liked Howard Stern back in the day. So he's not only changed everything about himself, but he's gone the full opposite direction.
He's probably one of the best interviewers that I've
sure,
especially lately. I mean, he does dig into interviews really well and asks some really good questions. And it seems like the guests he's brought on the show like really kind of open up and really have some deep conversations, which I like listening to those interviews. Right, those are good interviews. It's just the in-between bullshit now with all his staffers and everything that they do and the bits they do. It's just not there anymore, right? You listen to the same stuff over and over again, and it's just not as funny, right? I don't know. I just don't find it funny.
Yeah, I feel like, again, they haven't been able to keep up with the time. So like they do lame bits where it's like, oh, there's a knock at the door and it's a celebrity. And then it ends up being like an impersonator of like a very obscure celebrity, or like they still do like Joan Rivers bits. And it's like, dude, Joan Rivers has been dead for like 10 years. Half the people, I know the people listening to his show know who she is, but like, she's not a relevant person that people give a fuck about for him to like make jokes about.
Who does it, she does a pretty good Joan Rivers though. I mean,
for sure.
Yeah, but
and
still,
then there's yeah, then he does interviews, which is great. But like the people he interviews, it's like 99% of them, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this person. Like they're, how many times can you interview the lead singer of the Dixie Chicks? Like we don't care. Or the fucking guy from Maroon 5. I don't give a shit about what he's up to. I saw today he interviewed James Gunn, so I'm going to go back and listen to that because I'm a huge James Gunn fan, as I mentioned last week. So I will listen to that interview. But overall, like, I don't know, there's just nothing that really grabs me.
It's not the same. It's not the same anymore. I was kind of hoping it was true that he was just going to retire or whatever. But, oh well.
Even with the return episode, they returned with the Andy Cohen thing. Okay, whatever. And then their social media accounts posting this video that they made where they had the singer Shaggy. Yes, the same Shaggy that did It Wasn't Me 25 years ago and hasn't been relevant since. They had him sing a remix for their show of who leaked that Howard Stern's getting canceled, and it's all the staff going, "Oh, it wasn't me," but it's like, it's Shaggy. It's 2025. You guys are using Shaggy, and you're Howard Stern. It's just crazy to me.
Trying to hone in on the generation that grew up on Shaggy, which is us. Like, well, me, I guess you could say, but
I'm like, familiar with it. I mean, that was around my time as well. I was like 10 or so when the song came out.
But still, it's like they're trying to bring that back, or just make they talk to the people. I don't know. It's just
for me, and it's
not there. All of those people on that show have enough money that they could just go do their own thing. I mean, I feel like every year he just keeps Robin going, and I mean, Robin's probably not any more healthier than she used to be. And it's one of those things where it's just, I feel like everyone kind of would be okay retiring, but Howard's like, nah, for ego purposes, I'll just stick around again and keep going, you know?
Yeah, that was the other thing too, is I always kind of waited for the day that Robin retires without him. Like, hey, he's going to sign a new contract. And she's like, yeah, dude, I'm not. I'm fucking done. Like, I want to enjoy my life. But at the end of the day, they work from home full time now. They're only 3 days a week. And then they get like 20 weeks off a year, if not more.
He doesn't come into the studio anymore, does he? It's like the studio is only there for his staffers, right? Nobody's even in the studio anymore, right?
Yeah, he fully admitted that the other day that he's not coming back to the studio. That was part of the Monday episode because they were talking about he has beef with what's her name? There's some popular girl, Alex Cooper, I think her name is.
Or was it the one that they call her daddy thing?
Yeah, I think I'm not familiar with her, to be honest, but
I think she was the one that was on the bar stool and she became real big.
So Sirius, I think, signed her, and that was one of the rumors.
Deal, and he was pissed because I remember that started the whole thing was him bitching about the fact that these podcasters who do, as he likes to claim, shows out of their mother's basement now are signing multi-million-dollar deals where he had to earn his stripes. Like, dude, you're 70 years old. You were around when the radio was invented. Of course you.
Yeah, like stripes. Times have changed. It's a new era of like entertainment. So he addressed that. He said he's never had an issue with her. And he said that he's happy that they sign anybody that's going to bring in listeners because that means that the company's doing better. And then he also addressed how people said that like he hated Alex Cooper and he told people like, don't look at her and this and that, and how he didn't want to be near her. And he's like, I don't even go to the studio anymore. So he's like, I've never been in the room with her. Why would I care about her walking down the hall? He's like, I'm not there. So he fully admitted that he's not going back to New York anytime soon.
That was the worst kept secret ever, right? We all knew that. He's afraid to leave his house. Let's be honest. I mean, so.
And that's what he said, too. They were supposed to come back last week, and he claims he got really sick because he went out. He said, normally I don't go out, but I went out to a concert, and he's like, I'm shaking hands, I'm meeting people, and next thing you know, he's like, I'm on death's door. I'm sick as hell. So he is a germaphobe and probably a hypochondriac, and it has.
He needs to take the Dwight Schrute way of just licking and eating dirt. So that's
the way to do it. You build that immune system. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, no, he's unfortunately not the Howard Stern that I once loved, but I did want to see the return episode, so I did sign up for Sirius again, and that's the only time I listened. I listened to about the first half hour or so, and then I turned it off. So that's how
I have Sirius app. I think I'll probably be canceling it because I listen through everything through Spotify, all the audiobooks, podcast, music. It's all through Spotify now, so I just go through that solely, nothing else.
Yeah, I like the Elvis channel on Sirius. I like the comedy channels. And then during football season, it's nice if I'm like driving around or something after a Browns game. They play all the games, so I can pick and choose a game if I want to listen to it or something like that. Like last year, I think the Browns were playing the Chargers. We got our asses kicked. But Tara and I decided on a whim, we're like, let's go down to Columbus and go shopping at the outlet store. So we drove down there, and on the way there, I was listening to the game. So that was kind of nice. But for $4 a month, whatever. I mean, that's nothing. It's not going to break the bank. So, all right. And then, yeah, we can obviously a lot to unpack with what happened today. If you want to talk about it yourself, I'm sure, again, this is big news for everybody.
I don't know what to say, man. I mean, we obviously Charlie Kirk got dead, right? Got shot at the Utah campus. He was doing his typical, he's been doing this for years. I think this is probably his fourth or fifth year of just traveling, campuses in the United States, where it started off small. Like he just set up a tent and to say, debate, let's talk, talk about different topics. And, obviously he's Republican, right? He's got conservative views and values, and, he welcomed the debate. So, and I've seen a lot of his videos. We all have the short videos of people walking up and just talking and bringing up their points of view, and then he brings up his points of view. And there's been some really good conversations, like mutual like debates, right? People say something, he says something, and they walk away. But of course, there's always the ones that get shown a lot is the
arguments and the
right, exactly right. Unfortunately, today he was shot, and I watched that video, and honestly, man, my stomach turned. I saw that video, and I was like,
I saw it.
Right in the neck. I mean, I said, there's just no fucking way this guy survives this. There's just no possible way. Like, they hit like a jugular, it looked like. And
the blood that came out like instantly, 100%. Like, I know they kind of let it on of like, he's in critical condition, he's in the hospital. Like, they kind of wanted you to think he was going to pull through, but as soon as he got hit, I text my friends immediately when I saw the video, and I'm like, there's no way. There's literally no chance he survives that.
No,
he would have had to have been like at a hospital that second for them to like stop the bleeding and give him a blood transfusion, because there was no way. They're like instant, just gushing out.
You can bleed out in 70 seconds, right? Even if you have something on his throat or whatever, you're trying to stop it. There's no way you got to a hospital quick enough. I'm sure he made it to the hospital alive. I'm sure, right? You know, probably the blood wasn't pumped out, and I'm sure they tried what they could, but there's just no way you could actually get that fixed quick enough. But here's the thing I'll say. Look, you and I have different political views, right? It's what it is. But friends can talk about it. People should be able to talk about what they believe in and don't believe in. I'm very nervous, I'll be honest, of what this could blow up to be in a society that's so tense. It's tense right now, right? That paired with what just took place in North Carolina 2 days ago, that girl on the train, right? It seems, I don't know. And then we had a school shooting literally within minutes of this happening to Charlie. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, it's just, I'm nervous of what certain people who are extreme on either side of the equation are going to do, because now I feel like, okay, so some crazy person's going to look at this and go, well, you took out our spokesperson, we're going to take out someone from your side. And I texted my one buddy who's Democratic, and, you know, whatever, we have debates. And I said, I'm not making a joke of this, but I feel like we're doing like a Bloods versus Crips thing, because the colors match up. And I feel like it's going to turn into a freaking political turf war somewhere where people are just going to start shooting people. And I'm like nervous. Like, we're going to New York City 2 weeks from now. We're going to the Ryder Cup, and I'm nervous to be at big events. You know, like I don't know. Like, just part of me is like nervous that something could happen. You know, and it sucks that you have to live like that. It sucks that as a society and our nation right now that thought is probably crossing a lot of people's minds today, and it's unfortunate. And whatever you do, disagree or not agree with whatever Charlie said or whatever it happens, no person should ever be killed for just having a different view, right? And that's the unfortunate part. That's my 2 cents on it, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was telling my buddies, I was telling them, you know, we were obviously discussing it earlier, and it's like, it's weird because it happens so often that like you're numb to it. The thing I thought of today was, obviously I go on social media, and of course, you know, it's politicized immediately. All I see from people are posting about how, oh, there's the left killing another person and like blaming a political side rather than just having like any type of empathy or thoughts for the world. Because a few months ago, that Minnesota politician and her husband were killed. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, all these people posting about Charlie Kirk, that's totally fine. Like, that's your prerogative, whatever. Didn't say a word about that. In fact, I saw a lot of people that are following the conspiracies of like, oh, Tim Walz set that up, and I bet this person did this, and like they won't just let the people die. And
are you talking about the ones that went to the house and shot them like in cold blood?
Got like put the cop outfit on and all that stuff. So as soon as those people died, I'm not saying everybody, but there were people that are big, you know, hard right people that were posting, oh, you know, Tim Walz set this up and blah, blah, blah. And like, they're going down a conspiracy rabbit hole. And I'm thinking in my head, like, dude, that's so fucked up. Like, these people just died because of politics. And all these people are doing is like making it a conspiracy theory. And then the same people, not all, but again, some of the people that were saying it's a conspiracy theory are the ones to firstly jump on today and go, oh, that's the left for you. That's what they do. They're out to get the Republicans and RIP Charlie Kirk and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's kind of funny that their thoughts on the Charlie Kirk one instantly is just a crazy left person did this, you know, shame on them. But when a left person got killed, they were turning it into a conspiracy theory. But it's just weird that everything gets politicized, and I feel like that's a problem. And I've talked about it plenty of times. I'm sure I've even discussed it with you, that we had a turning point in our society in 2016 with Trump. And I'm not trying to like make this a political blame game or anything like that, but it was weird. I grew up with, you don't discuss religion, you don't discuss money, and you don't discuss politics. That was always a thing that I don't know where, an unwritten rule, if you will, growing up, that you didn't talk like that. You didn't talk about that in public. You didn't talk about it with friends, with strangers, whatever. You keep those thoughts to yourself, and that's how you live your life. And that's how everybody got along a little bit more. Now it's so public. Everyone's so quick to share their opinion. And I'm not trying to make a joke of the Charlie Kirk situation by any stretch, but in my chat with my friends, my thoughts on the matter was, here's a guy who made his living arguing with people. Yes, they had good debates, but at the same time, he stood his ground on his thoughts, which were they were his thoughts. And he also would basically let people know that he thought they were wrong. Their thoughts, the way you live your life, your thought process is not what I agree with. So that's inaccurate. The Bible says this, so you're wrong. That's fine. You're allowed to do that. I'm not one to care if other people have a different opinion, but there are crazy people out there that are going to hear that and go, I grew up with these beliefs my whole life. You're telling me I'm wrong. Fuck you. And then some crazy person. But again, I mean, they didn't even catch the guy yet who shot him, or the person, I should say. So
supposedly there's a tweet an hour ago that says the FBI got someone, or they have someone in custody. The person they caught earlier was released. I guess it's an open carry state now, so they saw a guy with a gun and he immediately thought that he must have been open.
Naturally,
it makes sense, right? So they released him. Just my guess, and I'm not a forensics fucking major here, but I mean, it sounded like a long rifle from away, like someone got him from a distance, not up close.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Just how it sounded and just that shot. So I think it's like somebody was from a distance. So I don't know. I'm hoping they catch him, but I agree with you, is the fact that, we as a society, we should be able to say, hey, I believe this. I don't agree with you. You say that. You don't agree with me. Cool. No problem. We both have differences. Yeah. We move on. And it seems like everyone takes, whether it's the left or the right now, whatever the other side says, it's like, oh my God, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
100%. That's where we're at. It's a shame.
It's like, I don't get it. And I feel like we're almost to a tipping point, if not there already, to where something crazier is going to happen than this. Like, this is a big deal. I mean, as many people want to talk about, not making it political, I get it, but you got to figure he was the talking head of the Republican Party for 2 or 3 years when Trump was trying to get reelected, right? And now he was just publicly executed, basically. And I feel there's going to be some crazies out there that are going to take it upon themselves to now be like, well, now we got to even the playing field. And I really fear for people. I really do. And I just wish we could go back to where we were 10, 15 years ago when Bush was in office, Clinton was in office. People might not have liked him. People not have liked him. But you know what? We agreed to disagree. We moved on, and you just voted in the next election and hope that the person you voted for came in and put through the politics that you wanted to get put through, right, and stuff. And then we lived as a society in harmony, even though there were some issues. I just feel like we're coming to a point where it's going to get dangerous here, and it sucks.
Yeah. Again, like I said, we hit a turning point. I mean, don't get me wrong. When Obama was president, there were obviously people that were very against him, and they were open and honest about it. And they started kind of being vocal. That's kind of when it happened. It's ironic that tomorrow is the anniversary of 9/11, when America was never more united. And again, we have this Charlie Kirk incident, a school shooting, all these different things. And the first thing people do is they're blaming people. Oh, it's the crazy left, another left murder, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, if this doesn't kind of teach you to put life into perspective, that's my 2 cents on it. But
we're now such a divided country right now that I would not doubt it if, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we're to a point where this is why the Civil War, broke out. This is why the Civil War took place. A civil war now would be much different, obviously, than it was back then. But this is the exact reasoning that something like that took place, and we're to that point. We're so different. There's so many extremes on either side of the aisle there that it's just you're going to have such differing opinions that are going to come to a head somewhere. And I'm hoping it doesn't, but
eventually the kettle's going to boil over if you keep letting it go.
If what took place 2 days ago and then what took place today is not getting to that boiling point, I feel like there's something in the next probably 2 weeks here that's going to happen that's going to be like just the straw that broke the camel's back if it's not already there. So honestly, just be careful. I mean, when you're out and about, and just be careful and take care of yourself, but just be on the lookout. It sucks. It sucks. I have to say that. It sucks that we have to think like that. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, as the saying is, shattered glass cannot be fixed. And I feel like we are a little too far gone, and the bottle has broken with that. Because again, think back to when I was a kid and like growing up, people weren't talking politics. There wasn't, sure, there was like CNN and C-SPAN and all these channels, but nobody really cared. Now it's 24-hour. Like everyone's obsessed with everything.
I think it's a generational thing too. To your point, we didn't have, and we can put a blame on Trump, and I agree to a point that he hasn't done anything to help situations in certain aspects, right? I think that's a generational thing where we have a generation where we grew up in an area where we didn't talk, meaning we didn't really have our opinions and force them down other people's throats. We had an opinion, and people probably knew what your opinion was, but it was talked about behind closed doors or with close friends and family, but you weren't out there shoving it down people's throats. Now we have a new generation of the internet, the quick acting, the videotape everything. You know what I mean? It's a way of generation who just wants to be more vocal. And that's been happening for the last 10 or 15 years. And now we're to a point now where you just have people who are just going to tell you what their opinion is and make you understand what their opinion is. And you have to deal with it one way or the other, right? I think it's a generational thing, unfortunately. I really do. And because of that, a lot of us older people, and I say that because you're getting older, I'm older, right?
I'm 36.
We're getting brought into, we get brought into the mix. Because it's like, well, where are you at? I mean, who'd you vote for? What do you mean you didn't vote for the right person? How dare you? Now you're like having to defend yourself, right?
Yep.
Sometimes it's unfortunate that we're to that point. It really is.
Yeah, we've moved past a point where you could have a discussion with somebody of like, what are your values or beliefs, and you discuss them, and then that's it. And you kind of just go, okay, well, I agree with this, I don't agree with that, like blah blah blah. You have a good conversation. Now it's everybody's trying to convince other people that they're right. So it's, I believe in this, fuck you because you don't, and you believe in this, right. You're a piece of shit. Like that's crazy.
It's more of here's why you're wrong.
Yes.
Not more of here's what I believe, and I understand you don't believe that either, but here's what I believe, and this is what I think. But it's more, I spend more of a time arguing with you to tell you why I think you're wrong. And that's not how debates work, right? And I'll give people credit. There's Charlie on the right, and there's another guy on the left who go out and do these debates with colleges and right. But when they had these conversations, they said their piece, the other person said their piece, and they let them talk. They didn't interrupt them. They let them talk, right? Which doesn't happen often, which is kind of the nice thing that there's certain people. And what my point is, there's people out there who actually let it happen, but the majority of it, it's just arguing and fighting. And
yeah, it's just people trying to show that they're right, and and trying to pit people against each other. Again, I don't want to. He's the president, so it is what it is. But like, even Trump has instances where like something happens and he tries to like demonize everything, and he wants to put the right against the left instead of like, let's unify everybody. It's like, I'm guessing with the Charlie Kirk thing, he's not going to go out there and talk about how America needs to be smarter together. It's going to be, that's the left for you. That's why we need to do this.
I haven't seen a public thing yet. What I don't agree with, and the one thing I saw today, and we can move on after this, we don't forget sports we talk about.
Sure.
But I do like this topic. The one thing I saw today I don't agree with is that someone, I don't know if it was the White House or he came out and said we're going to have the flags at half-mast tomorrow. And I'm like, fucker, we should have them at half-mast tomorrow anyways. It's 9/11. Like,
yeah.
Why would you change the rhetoric on that? Yes, it sucks that we lost someone, that someone got assassinated, that someone got killed or whatever. We had a shit ton of school shootings over the last year. We've had a shit ton of school shootings all the time. We don't talk about it enough. And 9/11 is probably one of our biggest, darkest points in our history. And you're going to try to make it about an individual. I'm not saying we should minimize that, but we should not make it about this when it really is about that, right? And
right. That's my concern as well. Yeah, like you have a day tomorrow where it's the perfect opportunity after another tragedy to unify people, and it's probably just going to be like, again, everything on Facebook I saw immediately is, R.I.P. Charlie Kirk, another crazy leftist doing this instead of just like, hey, America needs to be better as a whole. We're no longer a whole. We are left against right, and that's where we've lost our footing. And
that's the thing too. That's the one thing I hope, and I'm hoping we get to a point where we're just like, guys, we can do better. We should do better. There's no reason why it should get to this point, but you're never going to change the mind of some people, and that's the unfortunate aspect.
Yeah, no, and I learned that a couple of months ago, like after this election, and like people, again, like it's like a sporting event. When Trump won the election, okay, the election's over. You had people celebrating as if their team won a championship, and it's like, okay, here's a guy who's our president. We're all rooting just for the country to do well. Instead, it's haha, fuck you. Your team lost, and it's like, man, we're at a weird spot. So that's kind of where I decided to. I took a huge step back from following politics. I just realized nothing's really changed in my 36 years on Earth. It's just consistently the same thing. It's one side against another. Some things happen, some things don't. Some things that you like happen, some things you don't happen. There's really not a whole lot you can do about it. So I really took a huge step back, and like I've gotten to the point, honest to God, where I've looked into retracting my voter registration because I don't want to get called into jury duty, and I don't want to have to deal. Like I don't care enough about politics anymore to go to jury duty. Essentially, is what it boils down to. Yeah. So the not even having the ability to vote if I deregister is totally fine with me. I've come to the realization that not a whole lot changes. Even with local elections, you can only do so much. I know it sounds stupid to say I'm only one person, so obviously my vote doesn't move the needle a ton, but that's true. But at the same time, I've also just come to the realization that like Ohio is a red state. It's probably going to be a red state for most of my life. Not much I can do to change that. I'm not wanting to go out and pick it.
That's the unfortunate realization that we all probably think was like, if you live in certain states, certain counties, certain cities, your vote probably really doesn't matter, right? If I go live in California right now and I don't live in like a rural part of California, I'm Republican, I vote Republican, it doesn't matter because it's never going to win, right? And in same thing like in Texas, even as much people joke, it's never going to go blue. Ohio might go blue eventually down the road. Who knows?
It's kind of a swing-ish state, but like for the foreseeable future, I think it will stay red for a while. So it's like, is it really worth my time to possibly get roped into jury duty? Like, no, not really.
That's what sucks about it. It really does. It's what sucks. I just end with just be careful. Anybody who's watching, you just be careful over the next couple months here because who knows what's going to happen? You know, just be careful. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this makes a change, and I'm not saying one way or the other. I don't want to sound like because of the specific merch, if you will. But maybe this will prevent people in the future now from being so like, here's a flag that says, fuck you, Joe Biden. I'm going to hang it up on my big truck. Like maybe this will get people to kind of be like, you know what? I don't like the guy. I don't like this person, but whatever. That's me. I know that I don't like them. I don't need to shove it in everyone's face. Maybe it slows things down and cools the country off a little bit. Maybe, hopefully he didn't die for nothing. Maybe something will change for the better out of this, but I'm not holding my breath.
I will be curious to see once they catch someone, whoever does it, kind of where that goes, because that's going to be a whole different narrative, right? That's going to be a whole different. Once they catch them and then they do their deep digging, and they're going to have social media detectives who are jumping into this person's history, and what direction is it going to go? Is it going to be a leftist who hates everyone? Now they're just going to pin it. Now that's going to light the fire right there if that's the case. But what would be interesting to me is if they find out that the guy who did it or person who did it, woman could do it too.
Sure.
Women can shoot guns too, guys. Don't shoot me. The fact that I think that if they're a right-wing person, like the Republican, and they still shot him, then that would throw like the entire grenade in there. I don't think the media would ever let that actually be known.
That was the first thing. Like, my sense of humor. Like, I wasn't making fun of the guy for dying. I was making fun of the situation. That's what I do. So I was joking and I said, because again, I was referencing the Minnesota situation when the Minnesota politician got killed. Immediately, people were like, "Oh, Tim Walz did this, Tim Walz that, and this guy was paid to kill them by this person because of this ruling and blah blah blah." So I joked and I said, kind of interesting how that Donald Trump birthday card drawing leaked out yesterday, and now Charlie Kirk's shot. I'm like, distraction? And they're all like, of course, they didn't get the joke, so some of them were like, see what I mean? That's what the leftist says, and a liberal would say that. And I'm like, I'm just getting ahead of the conspiracies before they start coming out. Like, I was just joking about it. But, like, that's really where we're at with social media and society, is there are going to be people trying to piece this together as a conspiracy.
I somehow believe that Reddit right now is on fire with the anonymity of
everybody. I haven't been on Reddit.
Oh, I guarantee. I haven't been on Reddit either, but you literally can hide behind a screen on Reddit, right? There's no way that people know who you are. I guarantee there's some things being said on those certain threads that are probably scary. But the one joke, and I can end with this, is I said to my one buddy, I'm like, the next South Park episode is going to be fucking lit, though.
Yeah, I joke, and I was like, hopefully they don't kill off Cartman, because that would suck.
No, they're gonna somehow be like, Kenny's wearing a mask of Charlie Kirk, and then he gets killed. And they're like, "Oh my god, he killed!" And then he pulls off the mask, and it's Kenny. So,
I just hope. I don't think there's a new episode tonight, so we're gonna have to wait a week for it. So, Yeah, we'll see what they do.
They're already thinking about something. Like, do they dig into it now or do they wait a while? Like, it's probably
they'll probably wait. I'm guessing it'll depend on when they catch the guy. When they find out like the motive of it, that'll help them make the episode. Because if it's like something really fucked up, they might not touch it. But if it's like a typical, just a crazy person that did it, then they might go after it. But if it's like deeper, like you said, if it's like a Republican and everyone's like, what the hell did they do that for? That's where they might start. It might get a little touchy. We'll see.
Right.
Exactly. But speaking of tragedies that happened this week, it's time to talk about the Cleveland Browns. They did lose 17-16 to the Cincinnati Bengals in what has been a crazy 72 hours since that game. For me, I am a huge fan of, you know me, I listen to 850. 850 has recently turned into, they were kind of ahead of the game because they started doing it before 92.3 The Fan. They started going live on YouTube every day. So the really big show would go live on YouTube from 9 to 1, Monday through Friday. And I would check in every once in a while, kind of like forget that it's on every once in a while and be like, oh yeah, shit, they are live on YouTube. Now they did a thing that's kind of neat. It is an exclusive 8 to 9 show with just Tony Rizzo. It's called the Tony Rizzo Show, and it is 8 to 9 on YouTube only. So he's dropping F-bombs, he's swearing, they're talking about a little bit of the current events, like they're doing whatever. Then the really big show starts, and he goes from 9 to noon, and then he's done for the day. So his day is now 8 to noon instead of 9 to 1 like it used to be. But his show is just him and the producer. He is not with Aaron Goldhammer, so he's just there letting it rip. Pretty entertaining. And the one thing I do enjoy is sitting there and watching it, and sometimes hopping in the chat. And like, it's good to have a nice discussion with people. Like, you read someone's take on something and you can kind of argue, debate them, argue with them, whatever, crack some jokes, whatever. It's a fun time. So I've been doing that a lot lately. So the one big takeaway from the game, obviously everyone's pissed off and they're prisoners of the moment on Monday morning. And of course, their first thing is cut the kicker. Why is this guy employed? Get rid of him. I was trying to be the voice of reason to people because I think, you know me, I'm a bit of a nut. I watch pretty much every football game that's on television from start to finish. Did I stay up till 1 a.m. the other night to watch the game that had the rain delay or the weather delay in Philadelphia? You bet your ass I did. Did I watch every minute of the Brazil game on Friday? Yes, I did. Did I watch Sunday Night Football? Sort of. I turned it off when it was 25-40 because I thought that game was over, and I went and got into bed and started reading, and then my buddy texted me, holy shit, look at this comeback, and I turned the game on and watched the final few minutes. So watched most of it. But I am a psycho. I watch football as much as I can. I literally pulled my TV outside with me, set it up on the table, and I watched Monday Night Football from inside my hot tub on Monday night because I'm watching the game. So I told Tara, hey, do you want to join me? She said, what are we watching? I said, Monday Night Football. She said, no, thank you. I said, okay, more room for me in there. So I watched the game by myself. But I watch as much as I can. I follow other teams. I'm constantly checking scores. I know every team that won. I check stat lines. I'm seeing what happened. I'm watching like the replays. So I tried to explain to people, look around the whole NFL. Kicking was bad all weekend. We can start with Friday night. I have a few on my memory bank here. Friday night, Harrison Butker misses an extra point in Brazil. Doesn't sound like much, but here's the butterfly effect. He missed that extra point. Chargers scored again. The Chiefs find themselves down by 8 at this point because of that missed extra point. They score a touchdown. They go for 2. They don't get it. So now they've missed 2 to 3 points on the board because of that one extra point that missed. It fucked them up that bad. Albeit they did end up losing by like a touchdown. But at the time, they had to go for 2. It changes the way you plan you play out the rest of the game. Then you fast forward to Sunday. Obviously, you saw what happened with Andre Szmyt. He missed an extra point and a field goal. Browns lose by 1. Huge points. Absolutely. Now, this is where Browns fans don't look around the rest of the NFL. Jake Moody. Yes, the San Francisco 49ers ended up winning their game. Jake Moody was awful. I think he missed 2 field goals, missed an extra point, whatever. He got cut this week. We'll talk about that. Go to the Atlanta-Tampa Bay game. So Baker gets the ball with 2 minutes left, throws a touchdown, puts them up by 3. They go for the extra point. Chase McLaughlin misses it. Fans don't talk about that. So now it's a 3-point game. Falcons get the ball. Michael Penix Jr. drives him down, gets him into field goal range. Young Hui Koo misses the game-tying field goal as time expired, or with 2 seconds left on the clock. So he missed a kick. And Chase McLaughlin earlier in the game missed a field goal. So he missed a field goal and an extra point, and they still won by 3, so no one talks about it. But that's just the game. And then Sunday Night Football, all week, all anybody talked about, especially on the Rizzo show, was how nervous they are. We have a rookie kicker. This is going to bite us in the ass. Why are we going in with a rookie kicker? This guy's never kicked, blah, blah, blah. So then the Ravens, fun fact, drafted a kicker, Tyler Loop, in like the 5th round. What did he do in that game? He missed an extra point. Doesn't sound like a big deal when you have a 40-25 lead, does it? What did the final score end up being? 41-40. That extra point cost the Ravens the game, and nobody talked about it on the Rizzo show. They talked about Andre Szmyt because we have a rookie kicker that needs to be released immediately. No one talked about the other misses. And then on Monday Night Football, the kicker for the Bears, forgot his name. Is it Gold? Robbie Gold? I don't remember.
I think it is Gold still. Is it still Gold?
I don't know. George, if you could look that up for me. Who's the kicker for the Chicago Bears? Regardless, he missed a field goal in that game, and they lost 27-24. So all around the league, Cairo Santo, that's right, Cairo Santo. Okay.
Again, George.
So you have kicks getting missed. Like, it was shitty all around the league, and those are just the ones off the top of my head. I'm sure, I guarantee if you go around, there were plenty more. But the fact that Browns are just harping on you got to get rid of the kicker, as if there's just some great kicker out there that's going to grow off a fucking tree. And there's another aspect to it that I tried to explain to people that didn't want to hear it. If you cut a rookie kicker after one bad outing, that sets kind of a bad precedent. You're in business. You hire people, you fire people. Yep. If you were known for firing people for their first minuscule mistake, I know missing kicks is like, that's his whole job, so it's not a minuscule mistake, but you know what I mean? The what's the word I'm looking for? Analogy that I'm making, I think is pretty good. If we cut this dude after his first bad outing, what precedent does that set? Because what if you bring in another kicker and he misses a kick in his first game? You have to cut him right then, because then you kind of look like a shitty organization if you're like, well, fuck this guy. And then vice versa. If you do that, agents around the league probably aren't going to want their players to sign with you if they're like, no, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They cut guys after, they don't give you much of a leash. You're expected to be like perfect and else you're out. It's going to hurt people wanting to come to your team from a business perspective. The Browns spent all offseason with Andre Szmyt in camp with Dustin Hopkins. He won the battle. Let the guy have a couple of weeks.
I think what sucks, though, about this is the fact that we, as a team...
I mean, it was heartbreaking, for sure. It was heartbreaking.
We can't get away from fucking kicker issues, man. Like, we just can't. Like, how many times in the last maybe 2 years that every time that a kicker would go to kick the ball, your heart kind of stopped and said, okay, woof, or fucking figures, right? It just, you don't know, like, you don't trust it, like, that it's going to go through. Like, when you line up for a field goal, you're 90% sure that that's just going to go through, right? Easy. Should go right through, no problems, whatever. And then when they miss it, you're like, what are we doing here? But it's always seems to be an issue at Cleveland over the last couple of years where it's like, we just don't have a trust in a kicker. And then I did enjoy the jokes of how long until we can sign Tucker, just to bring him in to camp, see.
I would take him. He's got about a 10-game suspension to get through, though, so it's going to be a while.
It just sucks. It just sucks.
No,
I agree with not cutting him. I didn't think they were going to cut him, but
Yeah, again, the number one thing I try to tell people is just that, like, if you look around the NFL, the kicking is bad. I equate a kicker. Exactly. I equate a kicker to being a closer in baseball. If you get a dominant closer, they're either going to be good for a while, and you're going to have, like, a Mariano Rivera, a Brad Hand, a Eric Gagne, like some of these, Trevor Hoffman. You have a handful of guys who were fucking great for their whole careers. On the flip side, you have guys like Emmanuel Clase, who was okay, and then had a good 2 years. And then this year kind of was sucking for a little bit in the beginning. He kind of figured it out, but you have ups and downs, ebbs and flows with closers. How many times have you seen a closer that was dominant for a season and then the next year was just fell off the face of the earth and was garbage? It happens all the time. It's the same thing with kickers. You could have a kicker who 1 year, a la Dustin Hopkins, who was fantastic in 2023. Then he tore his hamstring or pulled it, whatever, and he missed the rest of the season, came back in 2024, and he was dog shit. And that spent the entire year for Browns fans saying, we need to get a new kicker. So the Browns do just that. And then that kicker misses a couple, and right away Browns fans are like, what the fuck was Andrew Berry doing keeping this guy? What are they doing? It's like, you guys all wanted a new kicker. He got you a new kicker, and now you're pissed at him for getting you a new kicker. And then on the flip side, another argument that I got into with some people are just because, again, I find it lazy when fans just go, fire the coach. And it's not just Stefanski. They're saying, Bubba Ventrone, we need to have a talk with him. And I said, I asked the guy, I was like, honestly, what would you say to Bubba Ventrone? What is your thought? Like, I know you're trying to sound smart on social media, but what would you say to him right now? Do you think he's telling his kickers to fucking miss? Like, what's your thought? Then they're like, well, no, he's been shit since he's been here. Our special teams have been terrible. I said, have they? Because we have probably the best punter in football in Corey Bojorquez. And kicking-wise, Dustin Hopkins was a fucking stud in 2023, which happened to be Bubba Ventrone's first year in Cleveland. So his first year, he gets Dustin Hopkins, turns him into a stud. Dustin Hopkins signs a contract extension with the Cleveland Browns because he did so well, pulls his hamstring. Huh?
And then it went downhill after the hamstring.
Yeah. So he got the hamstring injury and was never the same after that. And then we get this rookie who looked really good in camp. I think everybody can attest to that. He hit all of his kicks in preseason, hit the game winner against the Rams, comes out in an actual NFL game and misses. And people are like, Bubba Ventrone's fault. Like, how the fuck can you blame Bubba Ventrone for that?
Where's the moniker across the bottom that calls out the Cleveland Browns fans are stupid?
They really are. This week, they're really letting it out. And then another thing I saw was, Stefanski, people were blaming him for the play calling, and they're trying to compare. Nick Chubb ran for 60 yards for the Texans. Browns only ran for 40 as a team. And then I said, well, the Texans only scored 9 points also, so that 60 yards didn't really do a whole fuck lot, did it? And people didn't want to hear that.
I'll tell you what, though, man. I mean, I'm watching this game, and I know we're kind of breaking it down, but Sampson looked good. I mean, I liked our rookies, Fannin and Sampson both. He's so versatile. I mean, out of that backfield, his ability to catch the ball and move. He's quick. He's loose. Like he's quick as hell. He's quick. He's moving around. He's hard to catch. And Fannin, Fannin looks so weird up against Njoku. Like Njoku's such a present.
They're very different looking guys at the same position.
Fannin catch the ball, and you're like, is that our fullback catching that? Oh no, that was Fannin, because I forgot he switched his number to 44.
He's Lee Suggs.
But he's also a very good route runner and good catcher too. Like those two right there are people we need to lean on. So I'm really curious to see what Judkins looks like if and when we get him back here shortly, and how he pairs him and Sampson back and forth, because that could be a fun 1-2 combo at some point.
I mean, you know my stance on Jerome Ford. I don't think Jerome Ford's a special running back by any stretch. He doesn't have explosiveness. He doesn't have good eyes in the backfield to see a hole. I'm not a fan. So if we get rid of Jerome Ford for Judkins, which I'm assuming is what's going to be the case whenever he's actually activated to play, because I think the Browns get a couple of weeks. They don't necessarily have to activate him right away. And he wasn't at practice today because he was meeting with the league offices for a possible suspension. So we'll see what happens with that.
Fucking stupid if it happens.
I agree, but it's the NFL. They got to act like they care. But yeah, no, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'll pat myself on the back a little bit on this one, because when we drafted Harold Fannin, everybody and their brother was bitching on social media about how the Browns didn't get any fucking wide receivers and this team's so stupid and blah, blah, blah. And I tried to tell everybody, and I said, we are moving back to Kevin Stefanski's 2 tight end set. Harold Fannin is not a blocking tight end. He is an athletic, basically slot receiver tight end. Sure as shit. That's exactly how they used him. And Joe Flacco threw for nearly 300 yards. So I think it kind of worked. Call me crazy. The drops obviously were huge. Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman.
Never seen that happen twice in a game where the ball goes on the hands and it just happens to pop up and get caught by the other team. There's no way we can put that blame on Flacco at all. We can't.
No chance.
I almost said Shane Flacco. Shane
Falco. It's basically the same guy.
But I've never seen it happen. I've seen it happen once, and it's a fluke, right? But twice, your 2 interceptions are because of that bullshit. God damn, dude.
And I don't want to sound like I'm defending him because, I like him, Harold Fannin. But people were really trying to shit on him for dropping that ball on that 3rd down pass. That was a really fucking tough catch, because I'm sure, we've all played catch before. So if you watch that, he caught it with his fingertips, and then as he was trying to pull it up, his knee hit it. So the ball popped out of his hands. It's not like he just had stone hands, But everybody, of course, went right to that. And they're like, oh, the fucking guy can't catch, blah, blah, blah. And I just want to defend him a little bit that was an instance where his knee hit the ball, and there's really nothing you can do about it as you're running full speed. You can't prevent your knee from moving. So I'm going to defend him on that one. The Jerry Jeudy fourth down drop, unacceptable. That was a business decision. I think he looked ahead at a safety and got scared and just didn't make the catch, which happens. Guys tend to look ahead. Look at the Chase Brown play where Chase Brown got the ball thrown to him by Burrow. He looked right at Carson Schlesinger, dropped the ball because sometimes guys look ahead. It happens. I think Njoku even did that in the game, if I'm not mistaken. So there was somebody on the Browns who did that. They dropped the pass that was right in their hands because they turned their head upfield a little too quick. But tough loss. The funny thing for me about this whole week is that basically everybody we've talked to, anyone that's ever talked about the Browns, had us basically starting off the season 0-6. They start game one, they lose by one. Very close contested game. Probably should have won, let's be honest, but they only lost by one. And everyone is going, oh, this is bullshit. This person needs cut. This person needs fired. They need to be held accountable, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, I thought you said they were going to start off 0-6. So you can't go 0-6 without losing your first game. So why are you upset that they lost their first game? The math doesn't make sense to me.
Well, didn't we held that team to what, 7 or 17 yards in the second half?
7 singular,
7 yards.
One digit.
Supposedly the top 5 offense in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken, or just self-proclaimed, 7 yards in the second half, and we're stressing. I made jokes and said it sucked, and I mean, let's be honest. Mason Graham got. I don't think, like you said before,
first half for sure.
I don't think they realized that they were just going to pump it down the middle of that defense for the first quarter. So I think it caught a lot of people off guard. But then they got their shit together, right? Then they got their shit together, and they finally started to slow it down a little bit and stop them. But our defense looks good, and the fact that Emerson's not there, huge hole in the secondary. I didn't see them moving the ball down the field whatsoever,
They held T. Higgins and Jamar Chase to a combined, I think, 5 catches for like 46 yards.
Insane.
Yeah. And then after the game, I mean, Joe Burrow came out flat out today. They interviewed him about the game, and he said, no team in the NFL has a better corner duo than Cleveland. And then, Mason Graham got pushed around and bodied on his first drive. The whole defense did. They bullied us. I was like, shit, this is not a good sign. And then I don't know who, Jim Schwartz made some adjustments, if somebody just got in some fucking ears. But that team came out and shut them down. The Browns, ironically enough, they gave up 7 yards in the second half total. They also have the number 1 rushing defense in all of football. Statistically, they gave up the least amount of yards on the ground to the Bengals. And I think that's a huge credit to, again, Jim Schwartz, Mason Graham, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett had, I think, 5 solo tackles on Sunday, and I think he had 4 tackles for a loss. He had 2 tackles for the running backs behind the line of scrimmage and 2 sacks on Joe Burrow. So he dominated.
That one series where it was 3 sacks in a row was unbelievable. Just kept on.
Imagine if we got that fucking safety. He barely made it out of the end zone.
I don't think that Joe Burrow is going to make it to week 6. He's just, that offensive line can't stop shit. I mean, maybe
the one thing I'll say is I think the Browns' defensive line is just that fucking good. And the scary thing to think about, and knock on wood, it happens again. The only injury that happened to the Browns in that game on Sunday was the Jack Conklin poke in the eye. That was it. Everybody else came away healthy. And there's a really good chance Michael Hall Jr. is active for this game on Sunday, which adds another beefy defensive tackle to go up against the Baltimore Ravens, which we will need because we are facing what is currently the number 1 rushing offense in football.
I thought Henry was getting old, man. That game
in Tennessee. I mean, remember when we shut him down to like 10 yards when Tennessee came to town? I guess the Titans were just that bad of a team. I thought the Browns were that good.
I thought Henry was getting old. This would be his downcline. Like he'd be going down this year. He showed that he's still pretty good at running the football on Monday or Sunday or whatever it was. Yeah, that's
Sunday night. No, they're still really good. The Baltimore Ravens definitely look to be more of a pass-heavy team to the wide receivers, which actually plays better for the Browns because we have good corners. So that helps. Isaiah Likely did not play last week. Hopefully he's out again this week. That would be great. Their offensive line didn't look great, but the number 1 thing is containing Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's so good at making those backyard plays. And that's the one thing we'll get into it when we talk about. I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll preview this game. The Browns lose 17-16. Sucks, but it is what it is. I know there's no such thing as moral victories. And, again, stupid Browns fans that don't watch the whole NFL, they just watch the Browns, go out and they're laughing saying, this offense sucks. They only scored 16 points. If you look around the league, that 16 points, if I'm not mistaken, outscored 10 other teams, at least 10 other teams. And I think there were like 20 teams that scored under 20 points or under this weekend. So scoring really wasn't that crazy this weekend. Obviously, the Baltimore Buffalo game, 41-40, was huge. But all the other teams, for the most part, were in the 20s. So 16 points isn't that far off. And again, the Browns outscored 10 other teams. So let's not get too crazy. I also think with the addition of Judkins, we can hopefully get our run game going because Samson's not an every down back, which we all knew that going into the season. And neither is Jerome Ford. Let's be honest. Jerome Ford's not a good every down back. So I think when you get a legitimate running back in there, that opens things up. And the play action was working just fine for Joe Flacco. So now if we actually get a running back, might make things even a little bit better. So fingers crossed Judkins will play.
Yeah, hoping for zero, whatever. Can he play this week if he wants to or if they want him to?
Yeah, so he's allowed back at practice. Then the Browns have to make the decision to activate him because they'd have to cut somebody, which, again, I believe would probably be Jerome Ford or Sanders, the running back that got the touchdown on Sunday. One of them would likely be cut because we're not going to keep 4 running backs. And then you waive them, and if they clear waivers, you put them on the practice squad, is my guess. I'm guessing.
I don't think he'd make waivers. I think another team would pick him up.
I'm more worried about Sanders getting picked up, to be honest, than I am Ford. Ford's on a 1-year deal. The Browns restructured his contract because they were probably going to release him anyway. So I kind of feel like now that they have Sanders, he's way more expendable. So gun to my head, probably a bad day to use that. I'd probably go with, hey, I didn't say gun to my neck. Ford is probably going to be gone. My guess is Jerome Ford is the one that's going to get waived. And if he clears waivers, they bring him in the practice squad. If somebody else picks him up because he's on a very cheap, like $2 million contract, whatever, then it is what it is. So long, Jerome Ford. But his time in Cleveland is short anyway. It's on borrowed time right now. So, yeah, Browns lose 17-16, but overall, I am confident in the future with this team, assuming this week wasn't a fluke. Speaking of week 1, let's go over the week that was and talk about picks. Or the other games that happened in the NFL, I'm sorry. Let me go full screen here. So, George, make sure you're posting the comments in the corner because I cannot see them otherwise, if you don't mind. Sunday Night Football, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas actually played that game really well, even after the Jalen Carter instant suspension or ejection, I should say. What an idiot. He's always been that way, though, and I saw some funny tweets. I don't want to take credit for them, but they did say, well, Jalen Carter is known for leaving the scene of things early. So that was a very, very funny joke when I saw that.
Even though it looked like Prescott spit first, but it probably wasn't at him.
So they showed other camera angles. Dak Prescott 100% walked up there. They were talking shit. Prescott spit, but it was like 5 yards away from him and on the ground. Yeah. And then Jalen Carter went up to him and literally spit in his face. So ejected. But the NFL basically came out and said that they're going to count that as a 1-game serve suspension. So he's playing this weekend against Kansas City, and it's water under the bridge at this point. So, yeah, the Eagles win a close one to the Cowboys. It was actually a really, really fun game. I'm glad I stayed up for it, 24-20. Friday night in Brazil, again, 21-27 with a missed extra point from Harrison Butker and with a blown 2-point conversion. So neither of them really would have affected things because had they got the extra point, they would have probably just kicked another field goal or extra point, which would have gave them 23, or they wouldn't have gone for 2, so it wouldn't have been a one-possession game.
Look good. Chargers look surprisingly
Chargers
good.
look really good. They're an up-and-coming team. Harbaugh now in year number 2 with this organization. Justin Herbert's a really good quarterback. My concern with them, though, is they did lose Rashawn Slater for the season, who's one of the best tackles in football. He just got a huge contract from them, and then he got a season-ending injury. That's going to be a tough one to overcome. Defensively, they had some people banged up. I think Denzel Perryman has like a high ankle sprain. And overall, though, the Chiefs going in without Rashee Rice because he's suspended, immediately losing Xavier Worthy to a shoulder injury. They were down to their number 1 wide receiver being like fucking McCole Hardman, or I don't even know who it was. I forgot who. But not very good. So they're going to be in the market for a wide receiver, in my opinion, in the very near future. And a lot of rumors going around say How soon until Tyreek Hill is back in Kansas City is the joke that everyone's posting, because he wants out of Miami. He was open about that in the offseason. They kept him, and now they got their asses kicked. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have a fire sale, including their head coach, very soon, but we'll get to that. Chargers win 21-27. The Raiders pull the road upset over the Patriots 20-13. Steelers win a fun one in New York. That was actually a fun game to watch. I had 2 TVs going for that one. So Pittsburgh finds a way to win. Per usual, TJ Watt non-existent. I saw a stat today that said we are approaching like 300-something days consecutively since the last time TJ Watt had a sack.
That's a stat somewhere? That's hilarious.
I swear to God, it's like 290-something days, maybe even in the 300s. But yeah, he's almost to a full year of not getting a sack. Could change this weekend, but as of right now, the stats don't lie. There is a lot of tape of Membu, the rookie right tackle for the Jets, just absolutely fucking destroying TJ Watt. There's so many clips of it. If you get a chance to look it up, it's a fun watch.
I do love a good rated TJ Watt video, so I have to watch it.
Like, remember DeJuan Jones' rookie season when DeJuan Jones was crushing TJ Watt in that game in Cleveland? It's like that, but there's 100 plays of it with Membu getting him. It's so funny. Tampa Bay wins 23-20, and again, a fluky game for Baker Mayfield. For analytical people out there, their offensive efficiency percentage was 39%, which it grades just like you would a school paper. 39% is not good. That was the Tampa Bay offensive efficiency. The Falcons dominated this game. People that I follow on social media that are big analytical people.
Penix Jr. can't come into his own. Looks pretty good.
He's a very good quarterback. But the analytical people that I follow, they all said that the Falcons losing this game is the most shocking loss of the weekend, because they can't explain how the Falcons lost this game. Baker Mayfield threw for like 50%. I think he was 17 of 32, so basically 50% passing, but he had 3 touchdowns. He only had like 100-something yards. Like, he didn't have a very good game, but he got points when they needed it, and that's all that matters. So I'm not knocking him for that. I don't want anybody to think that that's what I'm doing. But I'm just speaking on behalf of people that do the analytical shit. Tampa Bay had no business winning that game, but they somehow found a way. So kudos to them not taking their win away. But it's more shocking that Atlanta lost, because, again, Younghoe Koo, 44-yard field goal with 5 seconds left, shanks it. And that's why they brought in a new kicker this week. He's still technically their kicker, but maybe not for long.
He's a good kicker, too.
He was. He just, for whatever reason, for the last year, he has been very hit or miss, and that's gotten people a little nervous in Atlanta. Indianapolis Colts do what nobody has done before in week 1, if I'm not mistaken. I think they had 8 straight drives with a score. Every time the offense had the ball, they scored.
They look pretty good. Daniel Jones, real thing, or is it a fluke game?
I think the Dolphins are just that bad. Dolphins are a horrible organization. I think the Michael McDaniel shtick has grown tired. He used to be really funny in the press conferences. He ran a very fast-paced, fun offense that was like unstoppable, and you're like, holy shit, like Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, this run game, they're running just like San Francisco used to do. You could plug in any running back and they're going to get 100 yards. People caught up to Mike McDaniel, I think, and the talent, their drafts have been terrible, that they're not bringing in good players, and it's caught up to them. I think the Falcons are just a really bad football team. So not a good start for them. Next up, my lock of the week, the Arizona Cardinals win 20-13 in a kind of a nail-biter game. That one actually came down to the last throw, but the Saints scored. I guess they're not as bad as everybody thought they'd be. They still don't look good, but we'll see how that season shakes out. They do have an interesting game this weekend we'll talk about against the Niners, because the Niners are not quite healthy, and we'll talk about that. Washington beats up on the New York Football Giants 21-6. The Giants look like the worst team in football by far. Malik Neighbors is yelling at his head coach on the sideline. Never a good look. Denver sneaks out a W against rookie Cam Ward in his first NFL regular season game, 20-12. Thought that game would be very different. Bo Nix, who I did draft in one of my fantasy leagues, sucked. Didn't expect that. Kind of thought he'd take a step forward, not regress, but the sophomore slump is very real, and he might be suffering. As you saw there, Bengals win 17-16 over the Browns. Jaguars beat up on the Panthers 26-10. Sucks for the Browns because we have their first-round draft pick, but also makes me feel a little bit better as a Browns fan because Travis Henry was not that impressive. He had 6 catches for like 30 yards or something like that, 60 yards, maybe not even. And one tackle.
Because Brian Thompson Thomas a fucking ball, dick.
Yeah, that'll happen. So they win. The Panthers look awful. They look like a lost football team per usual. And then the final score down there is San Francisco 17, Seattle 13. Seattle's offense is terrible. Seattle, literally, I'm not kidding you, Sam Darnold had 99 yards passing up until the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter. They got the ball at 17-13, and he tried to drive down for the 2-minute drill, and he ended up fumbling on the goal line. But that's where he got his number. So he ended the game with like 150 yards passing, but leading into like the 2-minute warning, he had 99 yards passing. So Sam Darnold, when you take him away from Kevin O'Connell,
potentially,
they announced it. Purdy, they said he could miss several weeks. He's officially out for this game on Sunday against the Saints. I don't even know who their backup is. I'll have to ask George. He's the Niners guy in this chat. We'll get to that towards the end. Then you had a couple more 4:00 games there. Lions get the shit kicked out of them by the Green Bay Packers. Saw an interesting stat earlier.
Packers look good. I mean, they have to win now. Like with that Parsons contract coming in, Parson looked good. He didn't look like someone who's injured. I don't know how much drugs they gave him before the game, though, if he truly is. But I thought they looked good.
Favre, they have some good stuff in Green Bay, so I'm sure he got the good stuff. Interesting stat that I saw. I was trying to find it again before the show, but I couldn't find it. But I saw something that said Jared Goff's had like a lot of coordinators in his career, and they said that he is winless without Sean McVay or Ben Johnson as his like a coach or coordinator. I think that's who it was. I wish I could find it. It was on Twitter. I don't know if it's true. I wanted to look it up more, but I couldn't find it. But not a good look for them. They looked terrible. The new offensive coordinator in Detroit looks like he's kind of afraid of letting Jared Goff throw the ball, which Ben Johnson wasn't afraid of, and hence why they scored 13 points. Not a good start for Detroit. Rams beat up on the Texans 14-9. Texans look terrible. Again, Nick Chubb, leading rusher, 60 yards, but they got 3 field goals. They didn't get into the end zone, I don't believe. CJ Stroud didn't look good. Their offensive line didn't look good. Just overall not a good team, or not a good game, but it's week 1. So maybe it was just a fluke. This is what's tough. You make your picks, and you don't really know who's who. You kind of have to let everybody reveal themselves. And week 1, week 2, week 3 are kind of when that happens. So right now we're still in the early processes. Buffalo comes back to win 41-40 over the Ravens in a really epic comeback. Josh Allen threw for 250 yards in the fourth quarter alone. They were down 25-40, and Buffalo did what they had to do and got the victory.
That was a fun game to watch.
It was a fucking awesome game. I loved it. And then Minnesota, same thing. Minnesota's getting dominated at halftime, and they come back. It really was. They came out. I mean, J.J. McCarthy threw a pick 6, which this is really fucked up. Let me get your thoughts on this. J.J. McCarthy, I'm sure you watched the game, wasn't that great. He sucked the first half, threw a pick 6. Second half, they won the game, sure, but like J.J. McCarthy didn't put up stellar numbers. He was like 60% passing. He threw for like 140 yards and a touchdown and interception. Nothing crazy. You know who 2 touchdowns, sorry. You know who the NFC Offensive Player of the Week was?
No, I didn't see.
J.J. McCarthy.
Shut up.
I swear to God. I posted that in the YouTube comments during the really big show today.
Just have that bad of a week for offense, I guess.
No, because there were players like Puka Nacua had 10 catches for 130 yards. Didn't have a touchdown, but he had 130 yards receiving. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba had the same thing. He had like 10 catches for 120 yards. They gave it to fucking J.J. McCarthy. Puka Nacua caught as many yards as J.J. McCarthy threw for, and they gave it to J.J. McCarthy. Crazy to me.
I'll give him credit. I mean, he came out in the second half a whole different,
for sure. Not worthy of NFC Offensive Player of the Week, though. That's fucking bananas to me.
Was there a meltdown player of the week? And give that to Caleb Williams because he looked like trash the second half. He looked so good the first 10 passes, and then it went downhill. I
tried to tell everybody, I'll die on this hill one way or the other. I did not like Caleb Williams coming out of college. Did not think he was a franchise quarterback, and he is living up to that right there. I also didn't like J.J. McCarthy. So the first half of that game, I was kind of patting myself on the back like, I think he got another one right. Then he looked good. But is that a Kevin O'Connell thing, or was it a J.J. McCarthy thing? Time will tell. But look at Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold went to Kevin O'Connell. Sam Darnold was a bum. We can admit that. Sam Darnold was not a good quarterback. He was a bust for the Jets, wasn't good in Carolina, wasn't good in San Francisco, goes to Minnesota, has a career resurgence, signs a huge contract with the Seahawks, albeit only one game, didn't look good. because he didn't have Kevin O'Connell. So it could just be a Kevin O'Connell thing. Time will tell, but I don't trust JJ McCarthy. So that's your week 1 results. The final scores for our picks. I had a 10-7 week. I did get my spread pick, thank God, as did Kyle. And Kyle went 14-3. So he's got a 4-game advantage on me here in week 1. As we've learned, that can change rather quickly. I believe a couple years ago, maybe even last year, I think something similar kind of happened where Kyle had like a 5 or 6 game lead early. And then all of a sudden a couple of weeks go by and he's like, hey, what's the score? And I'm like, I'm up by 3. And he's like, what the fuck? Like it can change quick on you. And a couple of years ago when I lost the whole season, I had a pretty good lead towards the end. And then Kyle started going rogue with like, I'm just going to go opposite of all your picks. And it worked out. He ended up winning the whole thing. So there are strategies to it. But again, early in the year, you go with your gut and you see what happens. So we are officially moving on to week 2 in a little bit. But first, I want to talk a little bit about Major League Baseball. The Cleveland Guardians are white hot, winners of 5 in a row. They are back from the dead, sort of. The only problem, all the teams they're trying to catch up to are winning their games as well. The Mariners have won 5 in a row. The Yankees have won 5 in a row. The Guardians have won 5 in a row. And the Rangers have won 5 in a row. And they're all competing against each other. So the Guardians have been on this win streak and have gained 0 ground in the playoff standings, which is kind of funny when you think about it. It sucks, but it's funny. So yeah, there's your wild card right there. You have Boston, you have New York, you have Cleveland, Seattle, and Texas. And Guardians are fighting. For whatever reason, I don't understand how it happened, but our pitching staff is lights out. We've had 2 near no-hitters over the last month. Joey Cantillo pitched fantastic last night. Slade Ciccone had a no-hitter going into the 8th inning the other night. That was awesome. A couple weeks ago, I think we talked about it. Gavin Williams had a no-hitter into the bottom of the 9th inning against the Mets. Ended up giving up a double to Juan Soto. But pitching staff, kudos to them. I don't know what the fuck Carl Willis is doing with those guys, but they are knocking it out of the park. No pun intended. And the offense is stepping up. Jose Ramirez is starting to hit the ball very well. He's got a couple home runs and doubles and shit. So he's turned it on. It's kind of like Myles Garrett. When Myles Garrett took over the game on Sunday, Jose Ramirez is kind of doing that for the Guardians right now. So it's interesting to see them make this comeback. I'm also not getting overly excited. Would the playoffs be fun? Sure. But in my gut, and I've said it all season, this team is not a championship contender. So, like
myself, there was a bet on Fanatics last week.
If they make the playoffs?
If they make the playoffs, I think it was plus 1,000. I'm like, fuck that. They're not going to make the playoffs. I'm like, God damn it. I should have jumped on that.
And I don't want to look too far ahead of myself here, but they are winning 3-2 right now against Kansas City. So they are doing it again, I suppose. We'll see what happens. I'll keep scoring everything else. Detroit, I'll give you a quick rundown. Let's go through the score here. Detroit is up. Or I'm sorry, Detroit and New York are playing the Yankees. It's 0-0 in the 5th. Who else? I think that's all the games going on right now. No, there's got to be more. Let me take a look. I got to open up the ESPN app really quick. All right, yeah, Royals and Guardians. Guardians are up 3-2. Tigers, Yankees 0-0. Astros, Blue Jays 2-0 Astros. And Rangers already won. They had a day game. Rangers won 6-3, so that's not good for the Guardians. That stinks. Red Sox beat the Athletics. Or opposite, I'm sorry. Athletics beat the Red Sox. That's huge for the Guardians, so they can hold on to their W tonight. And then the Mariners play at 9:40. So something to look forward to right there. But yeah, Guardians are trying. As you can see from the standings right there, Milwaukee's still the best team in baseball record-wise. Philadelphia's right nipping at their heels. Then you got the Blue Jays, Tigers, Cubs, Dodgers in that order. Then you get down to the wild card teams. So in the beginning of the season, I said I think the Los Angeles Dodgers are going to repeat, and I'm holding to that. I still think the Dodgers are the best team in baseball regular season. Obviously, they don't have the best record, but I think they can turn it on. They have more talent than any other team in baseball. But I also think the Phillies are pretty legit. I think the World Series will come out of the National League just because of talent. Obviously, anything can happen. I'm just basing it strictly off of the teams.
I don't think it's the Brewers, though. I'm sticking to that.
No, I don't either. I think the Brewers will be an early exit. They remind me of last year's Guardians. They're overachieving. They have a small payroll. They're winning. People are like, how the fuck are they doing this? Then the playoffs are going to roll around, and they'll be out by the second round, more than likely. I'm sticking to that as well. I think that's if I had to bet, they're not getting very far. But that's your quick baseball recap. I also wanted to get a quick basketball thing in really quick. I sent to George this morning. The NBA changed a rule. I think this is kind of interesting, and I want to explain why. George did have a counterpoint that he gave me in the chat. I almost responded, and then I thought about it, and I said, no, I'm saving this for the show because I have a theory.
I have an idea too, but it's fine.
So National Basketball Association has decided to, if you heave a ball like half court, full court, whatever, at the end of a quarter, it is no longer going to count against your field goal percentage. It just goes against your team field goal percentage. The reason that is a thing, career statistics. If LeBron James heaved up a ball full court twice a game, those are 2 missed shots. That's huge. If you're shooting the ball, 15 to 20 times a game and you have 2 misses on there because you heaved up half court shots, your shooting percentage goes down. Your 3-point percentage goes down because it's technically a 3-pointer. I know it sounds selfish, but for a guy who is arguably the best player of all time, who wants to have good career stats, is the screen just black for me only, or is it?
It's black for me too.
Okay, just making sure. I wanted to make sure my computer wasn't fucked up.
It's the Charlie Kirk point of view right now.
Yeah, thank you, George, for that. He's giving us what we now see, what Charlie sees. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, it's 100% for that purpose, and also for players who have bonuses and clauses in their contract, because most fans, I assume, know this, but there are very fine details in players' contracts that might say if you shoot over 45% this year, you get a bonus at the end of the season for $200,000 or whatever, in a contract. Players know that shit. And they're like, I'm not fucking throwing this ball because I have to have my 3-point percentage at 35% or else I don't get, $200,000. I want that $200,000, so I'm not throwing this ball full court. And there were a couple videos people showed earlier of an example of the Lakers, for instance, with LeBron James. They inbound the ball, and there's 4 seconds left on the clock. He has the ball. He turns around. It's full court. He could shoot it, but he just dribbles it out, lets the clock run out. People are like, why didn't he shoot that? Doesn't want to hurt his numbers. I agree. Now, guys are going to be chucking the ball up fucking full court. We're going to get to see a bunch of people make some of these. Maybe not a bunch, but we'll see a handful. That'll be fun. I think it's good, but I think the main reason they're doing it is because players want to kind of keep an eye on their numbers, and the league knows that. So this is their way of being like, fuck it, heave that ball. We want to see you guys throwing this ball full court. Now, on the flip side, when they miss big time and it hits some little old lady or some little kid right in the fucking face and they get their face busted up on TV, it'll be funny for me. Won't be funny for that fan and for the players and the team that have to pay that person the lawsuit settlement. But I'm okay with it. I think this is a good move for baseball or for basketball. I think other sports should incorporate this kind of shit because there are things that it's easier said than done in a different sport, but like baseball has weird clauses where if a guy pitches a set amount of innings, he gets a bonus. Teams know that. The Pittsburgh Pirates are known for being cheap, where a guy needed to pitch like 150 innings. He got to like 147. They released him. If he hit 150 innings pitched, he was going to get like a $2 million bonus. They cut him right before he hit the number because they're a cheap, shitty franchise. So players are aware of these numbers, and the teams are aware of these numbers to help them. So the NBA basically said, hey, we're going to do you guys a favor. Don't be afraid to throw that ball up. This isn't going to hurt you. I like it. I think it helps the game a little bit.
I would just say with that point, because in the same argument, if you're not going to have it go against the players' numbers, not hurt them, then when they make those points, it shouldn't go for them either. It should just be points that are credited to anybody. So it's the same argument. If you're not going to give them credit for missing the shot or the negative effect, then you shouldn't get the positive effect either.
I agree with that. I agree. It should just be a neutral thing. Yeah. If you make it, your team gets 3 points, and it's just credited as no player, like awarded 3 points, whatever. I totally agree with that. I don't think it should help or hurt. I think you got to play it fair.
It should be a neutral thing. If you're going to throw it up and you don't get positive or negative from it, it's just there. If you make it, it's a bonus 3 points for your team. Congratulations. No one's stats get helped or hurt by it, and we move on, right? And then now you're going to see players just taking the chance to throw it up there, right, and see what happens. So
I agree. I'd be totally cool with that. I think I didn't read the fine print. I'm guessing they are going to credit the player if they make the shot, but if they don't make it, nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just interesting. I like when teams or leagues, I should say, try to alter rules a little bit to make things a little more interesting for everybody. Like the NFL with the kickoff thing, I kind of like the new kickoff rule, to be honest. I think I saw a stat the other day. Somebody said that we're on pace, right? It was only week 1, but we're on pace this year to have the most kick returns in NFL history in one season because of this rule change. And that's what the NFL wanted. The NFL doesn't want to go. They understand fans.
NFL. Appreciate the hints, the help here.
I personally hate it as a football fan when a team goes down, they score a touchdown. They kick the extra point, goes to a commercial, comes back from commercial. They kick the ball off. It goes out of the end zone. No one touched it. You literally just watch a bunch of guys stand on the field. The ball goes into the end zone, and then they just walk off the field with a whistle. And then they go to another commercial before the offense comes out. It's like literally nothing has happened in the last 5 minutes, and I've had to sit through fucking 8 Bud Light commercials, 3 DraftKings commercials. Show me the fucking game. With this, they're basically saying, we're going to give you some action in between those commercials. Because I'm guessing they lose viewership. People are probably like, all right, the Browns scored, boom. Sometimes they hit the extra point, and then people change the channel because they're like, I'll turn it back on in a minute when they're out on defense. I don't care about the kickoff because nothing's going to happen. Kickoffs aren't exciting anymore. So this is going to entice people to kind of keep their eyes focused on the game, and I think it's a smart move by the NFL, and so far I like it. But speaking of the NFL, it is time. It is time for picks. George is ready. We are in week 2. Again, it is 10-7 Justin, 14-3 Kyle. I am going to minimize.
What did I do?
I didn't keep track of yours because you read for Kyle. I don't even necessarily know if you gave me all your picks. You kind of a couple times you'd give me a pick, but I didn't jot them down.
Oh man.
So if you want to go back and re-listen and tell me your score, I am happy to do that.
I will do so.
Okay, perfect. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to minimize my screen just for a second. Actually, I can see the teams with it minimized, so we're good. I'm going to open up another pit tab here because I want to see the odds. I'm going off ESPN. Just so everybody is aware, I'm going with the current ESPN odds for week 2. So
and that's where I wanted to check with you is where you were going to go off.
I go off ESPN.
Okay.
Yep.
So that way I know I'll set that up for
last week. We had a couple numbers that were off.
Yeah.
So as usual, the picks we go game by game. We save the Browns game for last. We preview that, and we also each person gets one spread pick. And if your pick hits, you get a point. It's just like the NFL, the NBA thing we just talked about. If your pick hits, you get it. If it misses, it's no harm, no foul. You don't you don't get a loss for it. So it's just a fun little thing. With that being said, let's get right into it. So we have Thursday night football, September 11th, day of grieving and mourning, and we get to watch the Packers play the Washington Commanders. I can't wait. I love Thursday night football, and I think this is going to be a really fucking good game. This is a tough one. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm kind of torn. Sorry. Thank you. I'm a little torn on this one. You have a pretty even matchup. It is -3.5 for even money if you want the Packers. It is +3.5, -120 for the Commanders. So pretty close game. That 3.5 is basically for home field advantage. You have a Thursday night football game in Lambeau Field. This is tough. I am torn. In my opinion, this is a pick'em game. And my gut always says pick the home team. So the Cheeseheads, it is for me. I am taking Green Bay.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I was debating and picking this one as my spread pick because I think the Packers win, but I also think they win by more than 3.5. But I'm going to just leave it as a straight up pick. So I'm going to take the Packers at home.
Yeah, I don't trust either team. I trust them. They're both very good teams, and they both could win. I have no idea which one's going to win this game.
Going Commanders here, guys.
Are you really?
Yeah, going opposite.
George, I got you here really quick. Who's the backup quarterback for the Niners?
That would be one awesome Mac Jones. And
that's right. Oh my God.
Brock Purdy is only a 1 week. They feel that, basically it's the Saints. They know what the Saints will barely bring. So, yeah, you're going to get Mac Jones this week, but Brock Purdy is just a 1 week ordeal.
Talking that shit.
He's got just a banged up. It's just a little bruised up shoulder, and his little toe is hurt. So, he needs to have the boo-boo seal, and why waste him up against New Orleans? So,
okay, so I'm going off of Niners reporter Nick Wagoner. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yeah, homie.
ESPN guy for the 49ers. He's the one that's where I got it from. He tweeted that Mike Shanahan stated it's a long shot that Purdy plays Sunday, and it could be a multiple week injury. So that's what I went off of.
Yeah, initially it was just supposed to be, it was pretty much looking as a bruised shoulder, but it's his throwing shoulder. So that it's, when the throwing shoulders are always hit and miss, literally. So we'll see. Right now, he's pretty much is saying it. He's hoping it's only 1 week.
Okay.
We'll see. The toe is no big deal. It's the throwing shoulder.
Yeah, basically the only thing they're really noting is that it's the throwing shoulder. All right. I think I have my spread for a game. I just had to look really quick. I think I got it. Okay. All right. Next game is Jacksonville at Cincinnati. I am taking Cincinnati. I think they're going to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I obviously am going to pretty much be picking against the Jacksonville Jaguars all season because we have their draft pick. So I want them to suck. I want Travis Hunter to suck because I also want the trade of not selecting Travis Hunter to also look like a good move. So very, very against Jacksonville for the full season. And for that reason, I'm taking Cincinnati.
Agree. Give me the Bengals here, even though I hate both of these teams, but give me the Bengals.
Yeah, this was a tough one.
This is going to be a shootout. This one, I think both teams are going to get into the mid 30s. So I'm going to take Jacksonville, though. I think Jacksonville's got more weapons. Cincinnati looked like a yawn fest Sunday. And of course, it's because I had to happen to have the third damn pick and had to take Chase in 1 week.
Well, he won't be facing off against Denzel Ward this weekend, so I think you're in good shape. Something tells me he's going to have a much better game than last week. Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Football Giants. Just basing off of what I saw week one, Dallas didn't look that bad. New York looked that bad, if not worse. They did state they are sticking with Russell Wilson. There were rumors before the game, or during the week, I'm sorry, that said, let me double check here. I saw rumors that said that Jackson Dart was going to have a couple plays in the playbook. They were going to possibly give him. I'm sorry?
A package or two for him, yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, that's what I saw, but I didn't actually check the box score to see if he actually had any snaps. I really don't know. No, he did not. Okay, that's what I thought. So Jackson Dart never even got on the field, and the rumor was they were going to give him some plays. Now we're in week 2. Russell Wilson looked terrible. The Giants looked terrible. Again, Malik Neighbors was trying to fight Brian Daboll. Things look bad in New York. There was a rumor that I saw today that Brian Daboll had a meeting with the ownership and with the president of the team and blah, 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 because they were basically telling him to bench Russell Wilson. So what are they doing? They doubled down. Russell Wilson is starting on Sunday, so his leash is short, and I don't think it gets any longer against the Dallas Cowboys. Give me Dallas.
Yeah, this should be a pretty easy win for the Cowboys. I say that, and Prescott's probably going to go shit the bed, but I still take the Cowboys here.
Shoot, I'd take the Cowboys and the points on this one.
You're taking the points, George?
Hell yeah.
I'll give them to you. I got minus 5.5.
I'll double down on that all day because once Russell Wilson gets officially pummeled on this game and they go, see, we were kind of chit-chatting about it last night. Dart, we said by week 3. So, yep. We think
you're going to have him start over Jameis Winston?
He's a number 2 on the roster. Yeah, they
on the roster.
Yeah, they told Jameis, "Thanks for being here. You're just a cheerleader." Yeah, so
I'm not a bad cheerleader.
I was very close to taking the picks or the spread on this one too, George. I'm with you on that. I was heavily debating it, but I chose a different game, so we'll get to that one later. Next up, you have Chicago at Detroit. Based on what I saw yesterday, Chicago, they don't do it for me. Again, it's Caleb Williams. Detroit's at home. Detroit's pissed off. They got embarrassed on national TV last week. I think Detroit bounces back with a home win. Give me the Lions.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty easy pick too. I mean, the Bears are better than they were last year, but they're still not there yet. I think the Lions take this one.
Actually, I'm opposite. I'm thinking
Wow.
the Bears. I think the Bears and I think the Bears look more ready to play football. Zolt said it last night beautifully. The Lions were prepared to play football. the Packers were prepared to play the Lions. And I think the same thing will happen again. I think the Lions will just be prepared to play football. And I think the Bears are 100% ready to play the Lions because I think Ben Johnson knows. Hey,
Yep, I was just going to say
the
former offensive coordinator. He knows exactly how to game plan. But on the flip side,
it's going to be
the Lions know Ben Johnson.
But I think it's going to be low. It is not. People in Detroit are going to be like, Jesus, is this game over yet? I think it's a snooze fest. I don't think it's very high scoring at all. I think it's going to be a real low scoring game.
Yeah, I just, again, after watching him on Monday Night Football and his whole career, I don't trust Caleb Williams. I think Dan Campbell gets his team back. And again, I think they're pissed off. I think he's a good motivator. Ben Johnson kind of looked a little skittish out there. He had a couple rookie mistakes. He challenged a play that is just a rule in the NFL. He challenged the play where TJ Hawkinson got the ball punched out while he was on his knees. It's just like baseball. The ball is considered a part of the body in that situation. So by punching the ball while he's down on his knee, he's just down by contact. Ben Johnson challenged it, wasted the timeout, kind of cost them the game in the end because they really could have used that timeout. And then with the kick at the end of the game, should have kicked the ball out of bounds, but to take advantage of the 2-minute warning, did not kick the ball off. They ran it back, ruined the 2-minute warning. Just a couple of bad snafus for him, and it kind of makes me think that I think Dan Campbell, being a seasoned veteran head coach with a veteran quarterback, with a team he's been coaching for years, is a little bit ahead of Ben Johnson. So that's why I'm pretty confident going with the Lions, but we shall see. Next up, possible prison inmate game of the week here. We have New England against Miami. In Miami, does Miami bounce back, or does New England and Mike Vrabel finally get that W? Until I see otherwise, give me the Patriots. The Dolphins truly looked like one of the worst teams in football last week, and I cannot. Something's off with Tua. Tua looks fucking terrible, and I think if anybody can take advantage of Tua being very bad, it's going to be a defensive-minded coach in Mike Vrabel. So give me the Pats.
Yep, can't disagree. So far, still with you in this one. Give me the Patriots as well.
I don't disagree, but the thing that scares me is every time New England goes down to Miami, it just never works out so well. So that's what makes me nervous, and especially because it's so early in the season happening. But yeah, I'm taking New England, but I don't like it. I'm a little nervous about it.
And that's the joy of having week 2 is you saw week 1, and there could be a team that gets blown out, and the next week they dominate. So you never know. It's really an interesting situation because I'm going just based off what I saw in week 1. Week 2 is a time for teams to kind of right the ship. So we'll see if Miami can do that, but I need to see it before I can believe it. Next up, we have San Francisco against the Saints. Even with Mac Jones, even without George Kittle, I think Kyle Shanahan's a pretty smart coach. I think he's going to have his team ready to play. The heavy dose of Christian McCaffrey, barring health. And I think Mac Jones can do just enough to get them the W. I think the Saints are a very, very, very bad team. They are going to be without – their offense is shit. They only have 2 good players on offense for the most part. It's Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave. They are without Chris Olave, who got lit up on Sunday. I believe he's in concussion protocol. So give me the Niners.
Yeah, even with hey, you got a new kicker in Pinheiro, and that's
a
lot better percentages than Moody. A lot better. I mean, you go with the guy who's almost 90%, and you drop the guy who was literally at 62. So yeah,
Eddie Pinheiro is a good kicker. Doesn't have the strongest leg, but the issue with him is he tends to, for a kicker, he tends to go on the IR a lot.
Like I said, it's a rental for a little while until they get, getting solid. And like I said, against the Saints, it's just, my God, it looks bad. I feel bad for Kellen Moore. It's dude, yeah, you got the job, but Jesus, man, we got to get you some players. I hope that front office is definitely focused on that. They've got to get them some players.
Yeah, they're in a weird situation where he took the head coaching job, and you kind of look at it as, okay, they're in a rebuild. Go down there. You're gonna have to suck for a year. Get yourself a quarterback. Then they waste a second round pick on Tyler Shough, and then you're like, what the fuck are they thinking? So just an overall bad franchise. I could see this possibly being a one-and-done year for Kellen Moore because they might be that bad and embarrassing. But time will tell. Kyle, what do you got?
Oh, I mean, this is pretty much an easy answer. Give me the 49ers here. Saints are just trash. They're a trash team.
All right. Next up, Buffalo at the Jets. The Jets scored a bunch of points. I don't know if that's a testament to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense being shitty, or maybe the Jets actually have something on their offense. I'm going to chalk it up to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense being shitty. I think Buffalo comes out and dominates because they want to win the AFC East, and the only way to win that is by beating your divisional opponents. Give me Buffalo.
They think points are going to be scored here because they got the over-under at 46.5. So, I mean, but they got Buffalo by 6.5 here too. So I think obviously the more points are going to be on Buffalo side. But yeah, give me the Bills here to win.
I agree.
Okay. Next up, we have Seattle at Pittsburgh, another interesting game where Pittsburgh's defense looked like shit. Aaron Rodgers looked like he found the fountain of youth. Seattle's offense looked like shit, but their defense actually played really well. So see, it's one of those battles of good versus bad. You have a very good offense against a very good defense, and you have a very bad offense against a very good defense. So this is kind of a pick 'em for me. I hate them with a fiery passion, but give me the Steelers because they're at home.
Wow, yeah. Even the total spread thinks it's going to be a lower scoring game. But give me the Steelers. I fucking hate this picking Steelers.
I hate picking them.
The only reason why I'm taking Pittsburgh is you have a West Coast team coming all the way across, going to the East Coast, and we know that never, ever works. I don't care. Seattle is sporting the new duds this week, so the new unis,
rivalry week or whatever.
Yeah, the unis are coming out in several of these games, and some of them look pretty cool. Some of them are like, what the hell were they thinking? But yeah, I'm with you guys. It's going to be a no-brainer. It's going to be Pittsburgh.
I wrote the next one down in pen for all three of us. I have a weird feeling we are all going with the Rams.
Yeah.
That's who I'm taking.
Rams against Carolina. Who are they against?
Titans.
Oh, yeah, taking the Rams for sure.
Okay, I wrote Rams for everybody before I even asked. I felt pretty confident in that. Speaking of Carolina, we have Carolina against Arizona. In Arizona, me personally, I'm taking Arizona. I think Carolina stinks, especially on the road. This is the opposite of what George says. This is a very East Coast team, pretty much as far east as you can get, going all the way to the West Coast. Obviously, the time difference is going to be a big deal for them because it's actually a little bit later, so it's not that bad. But I do think Arizona is just the better team, so give me Arizona.
Give me the Cardinals. Absolutely.
I actually like Carolina in this matchup.
George is making me feel very confident in my picks this week. He is going opposite on so many.
Well, Carolina has, but the thing is about Carolina last year is a lot of those games where you pretty much figured that they were going to be just blown out, jet lagged and everything. They just came on like gangbusters and punched people in the mouth. And Arizona's defense is not that strong. I'm sorry. So no, I think this one's going to be a close one. I think Carolina actually wins this one.
Okay, that's an interesting take, George. I appreciate you giving us the free wins here this week. So thank you for that.
If that one comes back, I'll let you know. Hey,
I don't trust them. I feel like they've gotten worse, to be honest. So from last year, so I can't trust them. Next up, we have Denver at Indianapolis. Indianapolis, are they the real deal? Denver, are they as bad as they looked on Sunday? This week will be the proving ground. This is a very tough one to pick, in my opinion, only because I don't fully believe in this team yet, and I do believe in the other one to be a contender for the playoffs. I have to take the Broncos to make my preseason picks make sense. So give me Denver here.
Yeah, I'm back and forth on this one too because I
don't know who's the real team.
I know I'm a Bo Nix fan, but he didn't do much last week, right? It made me a little nervous, but yeah, give me Denver in this one as well. However, I believe I would not be surprised if the Colts win.
I got a Colts. I feel a Colts pick coming on here from George. We'll see here in a second. George, who do you got?
Look, we said Danny Dimes sucked. He didn't have a line. It was garbage. He's got a line. I'm going Indy.
I figured.
Either George is going to come out looking like the smartest guy in the world, and he's going to be number one in the
Or
league.
he's going to be down by 10 games next week.
I'll be just stumping it, but no.
Next up, we have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, a Super Bowl rematch in Kansas City. For me personally, I won't spend much time on this because we're running out of time ourselves, but Kansas City is down receivers pretty badly. I don't think their offense is going to be able to keep up with the Philadelphia Eagles, and Philadelphia will be back at full strength with Jalen Carter, assuming he doesn't spit on anybody pregame. For that reason, give me Philadelphia and give me Philly minus the 1.5. I'm kind of shocked it's only 1.5. I don't know why it's that low. It feels like a weird trap game, but I have it on ESPN at 1.5. I am taking it.
I'm taking the Eagles as well, and I was gonna potentially pick this one for the spread too, but I got another game in mind. Okay, but yeah, give me the Eagles here, straight up.
Eagles.
And George will take the Chiefs, I'm sure, right?
No.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I got you down for the Eagles. Don't worry. Sunday Night Football on NBC. We have the Dirty Birds, the Atlanta Falcons, taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Should be an interesting game. Minnesota has a really good defense. Again, tale of two halves last week. Atlanta kind of trying to find their own. I don't really know what to make of either team. Again, Atlanta should have won that game against Tampa Bay, but they found a way to lose it. Is that something that's going to continue for the season? Drake London's a little banged up. With all that being said, I'm just going to go with the home team. This is kind of a pick-em game for me, so I have to go with the home team. That's just what my gut tells me, so I'm going Minnesota.
I am going to go opposite. First one of the night, Falcons here.
Okay. George, break the tie.
This is a coin flip, even for me, too. I agree.
For sure.
Like I said, I always tell everybody, relax. It's week one. It ought to be a pretty solid game, but yeah, home team thing for me too. I'll take Minnesota.
Okay. And then we have 2 Monday Night Football games, which I fucking hate personally because that means I'm going to be up very late. But it is what it is. It's the price you pay as an NFL fan. Tampa Bay at Houston. Houston looked like shit on Monday or on Sunday of last week. Was that a fluke? Is that who they are? Tampa Bay didn't look very good, but they won. So I guess that's one thing. Give me the home team. Give me Houston.
Yep. Give me the. I'm going to take the Bucks plus the 2.5 here that they'll take. So I'll take that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Houston. I don't know what in the blue moon they could have used Tunsil big time.
Would have helped, huh?
Just a little bit. No, I think Tampa Bay. They get the road win here. I'm taking the Bucks too.
I'm the lone wolf on that one. I feel like George. And then we have our late Monday Night Football game on the West Coast. We have the Los Angeles Chargers against the Las Vegas Raiders in Vegas, where the stadium will be full of, I don't even know, because the Chargers don't have actual fans and neither do the Raiders. So I really don't know who's going to be there. Probably a lot of tourists. With that being said, though, give me the Chargers. I think they're the real deal with Harbaugh. And my buddy in my group chat, I went to the draft with a few years ago, is a diehard Raiders fan. So having them lose would make me feel very good, and I would talk a ton of shit and blow up his phone at 1 a.m. about that after the game. So give me the Chargers.
Yep, agree. Taking the Chargers here.
I'm going with the Raiders.
Shocker.
Yeah, who saw that coming?
I don't think. I said the Chiefs are slowly falling apart. And
well, they're not in this game, so
the Chargers were able to take advantage of it and show it, and it's just going to get worse. So yeah, no, I think okay, they got the win, but big deal. I think that the Raiders have a little bit more offensive firepower. That's all.
All right. There you have it. There are your picks for the regular games. And then now, last but not least, is, of course, the Browns against the Baltimore Ravens. I went ahead and penciled everybody down for Baltimore. Spoiler alert. I just assumed we're all taking the Ravens.
Yep.
I don't love it. I mean, it sucks, but I'm just being realistic. The Ravens are every year a Super Bowl contender. The Browns are just trying to find their footing. So I think just with that being said, you expect them to be the winners of this game. However, couple things the Browns can do to make it a little easier for themselves. Catch the ball. That helps. Make your kicks. Play your good defense. Contain Lamar Jackson. Easier said than done. I know that. Nobody's ever really been able to do that. And try to contain Derrick Henry. Surprisingly, Derrick Henry, I believe his average against the Browns is like 60 yards a game. That's it in his career. So the Browns have done a pretty good job. Obviously, that really helps when we have the one game we played him a few years ago when he was with the Titans where we held him to like 12 yards. So with that being said, control everything. Again, for me, I am not expecting much this season. I think next year is the Browns' year to actually take that next step. This year for me is to see exactly what we saw last Sunday. Let me see these rookies making plays, and let's see them do it consistently. Dylan Sampson had a phenomenal game on Sunday. Is that something now that there's tape on him that he can continue to do? Same with Harold Fannin. Time will tell. Carson Schlesinger looks like one of the best linebackers in football. Dude was all over the place. Great nose for the ball. Mason Graham, rough first half. Second half, who was the guy taking down offensive linemen to help clear up sacks for everybody? That was Mason Graham. So the rookies are showing up. They're showing out. I'm excited about the future for the Browns team. Obviously, this year is not going to be our year, but there's no such thing as a moral victory. I fully agree with that. But if you can keep games close, if you can lose close games next year when you get that quarterback, when you get that number one wide receiver, hopefully, when you get that young offensive lineman to come in, you expect your team to take that next step. So hopefully this team just continues to build towards that. I'm picking Baltimore to lose, but obviously I'm hoping that the game is close.
You're picking Baltimore.
Lamar Jackson. No, I'm taking the Browns to lose. I mean, I'm saying I hope it's close.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Browns to lose, but I am hoping that, don't lose, make it a close game, make it competitive. I don't want it to be a blowout, keep it within a one score game would be fantastic. It would be heartbreaking, but it would feel better than getting blown out, in my opinion. I don't want to be embarrassed. Fun fact, Kevin Stefanski has never started a season 0-2 as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Odds are against us this week there, Kev. Sorry, buddy. Browns are also a double-digit underdog for the third time in Kevin Stefanski's coaching career here in Cleveland. Both came last season. Both were not covered by the Browns. So a lot of history is against us on Sunday, but you got to play the game.
If I'm not mistaken, are we not celebrating the Art Modell while we're at this game too?
They are celebrating their 30th anniversary as being the Baltimore Ravens. They are making sure it's game one. I know a guy who works in the front office there for Baltimore who probably had a little say in that. His name is Sashi Brown. He is the president of the Baltimore Ravens, and he more than likely is the one who said, let's do it the day we play the Browns. So they are doing honorary captains, and I forgot who the other ones were, but one of them is, of course, Art Modell. So Art Modell is an honorary captain for this game on Sunday. They are celebrating their 30th year of existence after coming from Cleveland to Baltimore against the Browns. Very disrespectful, adds fuel to the fire for the fans. A lot of debates today from people talking about it on the radio about how it's bullshit, blah, blah, blah. It is. I agree with that. But I also don't feel like the players give a fuck, to be honest. Half the guys in your team, more than half, are not from this area. They weren't Browns fans or Ravens fans growing up. They don't really care. They're out there to win. They're out there to play hard for their team, and they're kind of out there for themselves. Let's be honest. I don't think they give a fuck about the 30-year history. Fans, yes, every right to be pissed off. Players expecting Carson Schlesinger to go out there and be like, I'm going to fucking lay into Lamar Jackson because they took my team. He doesn't care. Let's be honest.
Only one that cares is us fans. That's all.
Yeah. So, and I just look at it as they're NFL players. Their goal is to go out there and beat whoever their opponents are. It doesn't matter the team, doesn't matter the history. Yeah, there's a little bad blood between some teams that you'll see division rivalry. Might be a little bit extra for that, but not because they stole the team from us. The players probably don't even. The only reason most of the players know that is because they're coached on PR. And a lot of them were probably told that this week. And they're like, oh, I didn't even realize that. But they're like, hey, yeah, the media is probably going to ask you, how do you feel about it? You have to act like you're pissed off because that's what the fans want to hear. So they're all coached media-wise, but I don't think the players really give a fuck. Again, contain Derrick Henry. Try to contain Lamar as best as you can. Just be careful. The one thing I want fans to realize is don't think the defense is garbage because Lamar does his bullshit where he runs around like backyard football. Even the best corners in the NFL can only cover guys for so long. So if Zay Flowers gets open for a deep touchdown because, Lamar Jackson did circles for 2 minutes, you can't really hold that against Denzel Ward, in my opinion.
Right.
We'll see. Keep it close. Maybe win. Not holding my breath, but we'll see. Keep it close. Punch him in the mouth as best as you can. Just don't get embarrassed and come away healthy. That's all I care about. Hopefully Judkins plays. It'll be fun to watch him on the field, but we'll see how that goes. And that's it. That's it for the preview. Now it is time for just the tip because we are a little late. Kyle, you are up first.
We're sticking with the Taylor Swift.
He loves that Taylor Swift post or picture. He loves it.
It's interesting. My pick is the Americans team. It's on Netflix, but talks about the Cowboys. I have one episode to go, but I've been watching it with my travels, and it's good. I mean, I'm a sports documentary person, fanatic. I knew some of the history, how Jerry Jones came into getting the Cowboys. I knew some of the dirty history it was with the Jimmy Johnson thing that took place. Some of the games I remember, but it's good. I mean, if you're a sports fan, you don't have to be a Cowboys fan, but if you're a sports fan and you're interested in something like, just learning about it's interesting. I have mixed feelings on Jerry Jones. I still think he's an idiot, but the whole culture around the Cowboys and where it was and what it is now, it's crazy how he helped kind of push that team into what they are right now. But it's worth a watch. If you haven't watched it yet, I think you'd like it, just for a sports fan purpose.
I haven't yet. I haven't had a chance. It's on my list. I just finished my tip last night. So definitely on my list of things to watch. I've heard nothing but good things. And I actually read the book, Boys Will Be Boys, about the Dallas Cowboys from the 90s. Phenomenal book. If you've ever get a chance to read it or audiobook it. I don't know if it's an audiobook.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So I love the history of the Cowboys. Definitely going to be watching this. It's just a matter of when I can dedicate a little time to it. But the most recent show that I finished up was the season finale of Dexter Resurrection. They, spoiler alert, brought Dexter back from the dead. And I watched the finale last night. They did a great job. Really just made you feel like you're watching the original show just in New York this time instead of Miami. Same situations Dexter gets himself into. He knows what he's doing. He sticks to the code. He, gets caught. Some people come up from his past. Just a lot of really cool shit. They keep you suspenseful, or they keep it suspenseful. And every episode, for the most part, ended with a very good cliffhanger where I'm sitting there going, fuck, what's going to happen? And I'm like guessing, trying to figure out what's going to happen. How's he going to get out of this? Who's going to do this? Really enjoyed it. I love Dexter. It was one of my favorite shows of all time. I've read some of the books. I'm a huge Michael C. Hall fan, except for his musical career. I don't get that personally. If you're familiar with that, Google it. You'll be blown away. I bet you'll be texting me within 20 minutes if you look up Michael Hall's band. So I think, I'm not kidding you, I think the name of his band, I'm not fucking with you, is called Princess Goes to the Butterfly Museum or something like that. That's the name of his band. I think he dresses in drag, kind of. It's bananas. Look it up. But with that being said, check out Dexter Resurrection if you're a fan of Dexter. The only downfall is that the show Dexter Origins, I think it was called, that came out where it's a prequel, they canceled that. It initially got renewed for a second season because it did really well. Then Dexter Resurrection came out and did really well, and they decided to cancel the prequel so they could focus more on Resurrection, which I think is stupid. You could have done both. Give me the prequel show in spring, give me Dexter Resurrection in fall. You could have given us both. I think they're totally fucking different people. It's a prequel show and a sequel, or sequel, I guess. Totally different actors. Everybody's different.
They renewed the this one for season 2.
They renewed this one for season 2, and then that inevitably made them cancel the season 2 renewal for the prequel show, which was a bummer to see that. I was hoping they would keep the whole universe going, but they had other plans. With that being said, that is it for this. George is apparently your new host, and I am. We will talk to you guys hopefully with the Browns W, hopefully doing some buzz balls, but I am not holding my breath. So, got anything, Kyle?
Nope, that's it, man. Thanks. I'm gonna jump off here, take a shower, and lay down because it's been a day.
Yep. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Cleveland, that was for you. See you later.